Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to another week of football here at Trojan Country. We are live from Williamsburg High School this evening. I'm Darvin Graham. I'm joined by my co-host this evening, Hunter White. Hunter, it's great to have you with us.
Absolutely. It's great to be here at the Bob Murphy Stadium here in Williamsburg with you, Darvin.
We got some rain on the way coming into Williamsburg here this afternoon. The clouds are parting. It's looking to be a beautiful night. A little breeze in the air. You can tell that the season's changing. Fall season is coming, and we've got beautiful football weather here coming your way. A couple of notes for this broadcast this evening. We're going to have a couple special live interviews during the Berkwood Village pregame show. We're going to hear from STC Athletic Director, Activities Director, Chelsea Ahrens. That'll be coming up here in a few moments. And at the Salt Creek Wind halftime show, we'll hear from STC senior Caden Tim. So we've got lots of live and fun stuff coming your way. Stick around, and we're glad you're with us. We just had the conclusion of this Frosh game. And, Hunter, if you can give us the final score from this Frosh game. It was a close one out there between South Tama and Williamsburg.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a tough-fought battle in the trenches, but ultimately the JV team was able to get the edge and the victory, going 13-6.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So awesome job from our JV squad. A few notes that I had is just that we beat them on the ground. We had tons of rushes on the edge, just sideline to sideline. Wonderful job doing that. I noticed that we had tons of tackles for loss. That's huge against especially the front Williamsburg team, which was just a little bit outsizing them. And then I just wanted to note that to end the first half, Carver Chichuk got the interception on the ball, so kind of stopped that final drive that Williamsburg had on its tracks. So.
Oh, wow. Big play there for Carver Chichuk. His older brother, Travis Chichuk, on the varsity squad. So fun night for the Chichuk family. And we are excited to be here with you this evening. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by the following local sponsors. They include Berkwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark West and Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Webbers, and TFD Photo and Film. All of our Trojan Country broadcasts also made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. South Tama coming into this one off of a disappointing and difficult loss over at Center Point Urbana last week in week 3. And they are now 0-4 on their season. The final score there was 58-0, and just kind of an injury and mistake-plagued game against CPU. On offense, just to kind of run through how South Tama looked kind of at the end of the night, Daniel Weiss, South Tama's senior quarterback, completed 4 of 11 passes for 35 yards. Cody Blocker was the lead rusher for South Tama in that one. He had 23 carries for 41 yards. And then in the receiving corps, not much happening as Weiss was only able to complete 4 passes. Kinzer Jeanette had 2 receptions for 18 yards, and Jacob Youngbear caught a 12-yard pass in the middle of the game. On the defensive side, South Tama, without one of its captains, Gavin Bridgewater, who had been averaging right around 10 to 12 tackles a game. He's been out for the last couple of weeks. Kinzer Jeanette kind of stepped up. He had 6 solo tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. Senior captain Kyan McBride also contributed with 5 solo tackles to kind of lead the defensive effort for STC. The Trojans did not recover any fumbles or any interceptions. And then over on the CPU side, South Tama was facing a very experienced Jackson Brinks. He was a junior quarterback, been in the system for a couple of years. He completed all 8 of his passes for 101 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sophomore running back A.J. Maloney had really the standout performance of the night. You'll recall that, Hunter.
Oh, yes,
he was just
absolutely
really quick, really slippery between the tackles, and rushed 13 times for 142 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He had a 57-yard breakaway touchdown run kind of in the middle of the game last week. For the receivers of CPU, Jarrett Koppadryer led the CPU receivers with 5 receptions for 50 yards and a touchdown. Jack Whitty on the defensive side had 10 tackles, 8 of them solo tackles. Colin Spoor had a notable performance with 6 tackles and 5 solo tackles. So South Tama's loss puts them squarely at the bottom of the District 3 or Class 3A District 5 standings. They're 0-4, and we're kind of just really getting the honest part of the district schedule underway here tonight as all district teams faced against district opponents tonight. So South Tama taking on Williamsburg here. They're 0-4. Williamsburg at the top of the district picture right now. They're undefeated this season. They got a win against Fort Madison last week. They are top ranked in most polls across the state of Iowa. They were in the state championship game in Class 2A last week. Last year, and had a fantastic performance. So a tall task for South Tama here this evening as they're going up against a very competitive, very battle-tested program in Williamsburg. Kind of going down the rest of the district standings, Benton Community, they're 3-1. Grinnell and Solon also 3-1 overall. So plenty of room to work there in the middle of the district as those 3 teams, I think, will battle it out throughout the rest of the season. Solon gets a huge win on the road against Mount Vernon. They were a ranked team, I think, in the top 5 in a lot of polls. They defeat Mount Vernon. I think they're going to be the one to beat in that second place slot. But Benton Community is going to be right there coming up into Class 3A from 2A last season. And then Grinnell's right there, too, at 3-1. They've won 3 games. And I don't know too much about the Grinnell Tigers. We're going to see them next week during homecoming. But we'll see kind of how they stack up compared to this top-level team here tonight. It'll be interesting to see just eyeball test what they look like. So we're excited to kind of get into our district schedule here. And we thank you for being with us. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we are going to have our interview with STC Activities Director, Chelsea Ahrens. Thanks for being with us. All right, welcome back, South Tama Trojan fans. We are live at the Berkwood Village pregame show. I'm joined by STC High School Activities Director Chelsea Ahrens. Chelsea, we're here at a beautiful night in Williamsburg. How are you feeling this evening?
Good, good. Thank you for inviting me on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a beautiful evening tonight. Yeah.
I know, and it's great to kind of just be part of this fall football atmosphere. A lot of excitement, a big turnout here. I believe maybe homecoming for the Raiders tonight. So an exciting environment here in Williamsburg. Let's talk a little bit about South Tama, talk about kind of what's going on at the high school. Can you give us just a little update about some kind of things and activities or kind of where we are at in the high school calendar right now?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we have a really good start to the year. It's been really busy September so far with football and volleyball, cross country, marching band, all the fall activities kick off, and students have been super busy. We just finished map testing this week, their favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Sign me up.
They, of course, they're looking forward to homecoming week next week. But I think it's been a good start to the year. Activities, we've had really high I mean, we have a lot of seniors. I was thinking last night we had volleyball senior night. We had 7 seniors for volleyball. We have 13 seniors for cross country.
Yep. Good group for the football team.
And then football, we have about 13, and marching band 16. So marching band has their first competition tomorrow at Pella.
Great.
So they're getting really used up about that.
So tell me, they go through kind of middle October. Give us a picture quick about what their season looks like.
Yeah, typically they do 4 competition events. This year they're unable to go next week to Cedar Rapids,
the Kingston Stadium one.
because of homecoming dance. So then they'll go to 2 more after that. They go back to Kingston again, but it's the state competition. So yeah, they'll complete. They're right around the end of other fall seasons and things like that. So,
you guys have a few foreign exchange students again this year. South Tama regularly hosts foreign exchange students. Can you tell us who those kids are, what they're kind of getting involved in? We might see them during the homecoming parade coming up here too. And
yes, we have 3 seniors from Europe. Our first one is a boy. Gustav is his name. He's from Denmark. He's in marching. He's involved in the marching band. He's interested in getting involved in basketball and tennis. We have 2 girls. They're actually staying with the same family.
Oh, very nice.
The Papelkas, Terry and Angela Papelka.
Yeah.
Nadia and Danny. They're from Spain and Poland.
Okay.
So it's been great to talk to them and get to know them. And they're both in cross country. The girls are interested in doing some running in the spring or tennis and getting involved and kind of getting to know. I talked to them yesterday, and I'm like, so what do you miss most about home? And they were like, the food.
Yeah.
So they're really nice, great people.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, if you get a chance, say hi to those kids as they're kind of participating and getting their first experience over in the U.S. this year. Allison and I were a host family for a student, Alex, a few years back from Montenegro, and that was just an incredible experience from our perspective, and definitely recommend to people to get involved with that foreign exchange program. Talk to us a bit about some of the projects going on in the South Tama community as it relates to athletics. I know we saw a really nice looking scoreboard go up at the football field this year. What are some things maybe kind of in the hopper or things that have happened recently as far as projects?
This going into my 2nd year, but having a lot of experience at South Tama, really big involvement with our booster club, and that was the big project last year, the scoreboard at the stadium. And I really want to take some time to thank those businesses that donated. That was 100% donations from, I believe, 12 different local businesses. And so I really appreciate their support. We were able to move that project forward a lot faster than maybe we could have without them. That includes, it was about close to $38,000 between the scoreboard and the play clocks. And so, it was pretty crunch time getting it in.
Yeah, I recall it was going up, I think, a couple days before.
We played at Rolling Story at home on Friday, and it got installed on Thursday.
Jeez.
Yeah, the day before. But I want to take a shout out to Steve McAdoo and his crew working hard that Thursday to get everything in, and then we had to do some repairs on it. So that was a big project last year. The project we're working towards this year is some renovations at the stadium as far as around the concession stand area, kind of making it a more fan-friendly area.
Great.
Adding some seating and like some picnic tables, and just kind of redoing and making it a nice entrance to come in, to be something to be proud of.
Absolutely.
That's a big part of our events. Coming to the football game, coming to watch a track meet, coming to soccer games. So that's a project that the Booster Club and I are kind of getting some options on.
Yeah.
Obviously, we want to look back at some of the projects we did in 2020, which was the gym floor.
Yeah.
A brand new gym floor. And trying to look
Scoreboards around the baseball and the softball and the basketball. Yeah.
And the tennis courts were something to really be proud of. We got those projects done in 2020. The COVID year, but it was so we're looking to take care of those and continue to add to those programs. And we've for baseball, softball with the scoreboards, we've got some wind screens, we've got some new sound systems.
Yep.
And also upgrading and taking care of our fields too is a big thing. Those are some of the larger projects.
Yeah.
One thing I'm excited about is we're looking to get some more stuff for our coaches.
Nice.
Like inside our gym, we have the huddle camera.
Yep.
Another project we're looking towards is getting the one outside now.
Right. Really. And maybe kind of talk through how that works for South Tama coaches and how the basketball players are able to use it in those teams and how that could benefit the football team and what kind of that adds to the coaching element.
Yes. So when we installed the camera that's mounted inside, it's called a huddle focus camera. That really took a lot of work away from the coaches to have to find somebody to film that game and then break that film down as far as statistics, because what this camera does is it records it live for you and then you upload it and it does the stats for you.
Yeah. So you don't have somebody sitting there with a clipboard. They're able to upload their videos and it all comes right back to them here in a couple days.
Yep. Actually within a few hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's amazing.
Yep.
And so, that's kind of the competition we're going against.
Right.
A lot of these schools have that. And so that's one thing we really want to get installed outside for our, not just for football, soccer utilizes that as well. And being able to utilize those resources for our coaches and our players. Yes. And so then the player as well can log in and they can view the game and see, what happened at this play.
See
and
their breakdown clips and such.
Correct. And it's a good recruiting tool as well. I know that's, you can easily from that, you can create a highlight reel for yourself and send that to a coach. Rather back in the day, it was like, let's find a VHS and
just patch it together.
So, I'm excited about that. That's looking for something that we want to have installed this spring for soccer. And, obviously, with only 2 football games remaining, our priority was try to get the
scoreboard
up. And so.
Well, I think the bottom line here is South Tama community, get in touch and get involved with that booster club. They've been an integral part of a lot of these projects, probably almost all of them in some way or another. Really an opportunity to kind of give back and contribute and participate in a lot of these things.
Yes, definitely. The Booster Club is always looking for members, and whether it's coming to a meeting or maybe just reaching out to some of those members. Keely Bupal is our president. Travis Smith is our vice president. Mike Smolik's highly involved in. Josh Youngbear, myself. You can reach out to any of us and let us know. Time or monetary contributions. So it's not just about the money. We would appreciate any sort of support.
Yeah.
Without them, that they help support our schools and our activities so much. Not just athletics. They've done a lot of things in the past for our fine arts programs and our various clubs that we offer. So.
Very much a backbone for the support systems that South Tama needs to kind of just keep things going and keep things updated. So one thing I wanted to ask you about, the thing that's kind of been a through line for a lot of our team sports in the last 5 or so years, and we've seen it here in this football schedule, South Tama 0-4. We see some injuries kind of come through, and the participation level at a lot of our team sports has dwindled or has kind of struggled in recent years. And you hate to you don't want to be down on any of that because the kids that are there working their hardest and the coaches are giving everything they've got. So, kudos and a shout out to all those kids and coaches and people that are making all those things happen. But it kind of is hard to go without talking about some of those issues that have been around here for a little bit now. What is your perspective on some of those challenges from inside the school district, and what are some of those things that you're seeing, and maybe what might you look to see or hope to see in the future to just to help things help more kids participate and get a little more activity going in these team sports?
Sure. I've been in South Tama. This is my 16th year here, and there's a lot of things have changed. I started out as a teacher and social studies teacher and girls basketball coach and softball coach, and moved up along the lines over the years, and lots of things have changed. I would say, our participation rate is right now, last year, in the school year of 22-23, 79% of our students were involved in at least one activity.
Okay.
So that's encouraging to see, at least one thing they're involved in. Of course, we want that number to be 100%, because we know more people participate, the better. And we are experiencing some low numbers for sports, and especially those team sports. We could always use definitely more people out for football and more people out for the various sports. I think it comes with success, and there's not one true answer to how we can fix things.
Yeah.
If there was a magic button, myself and the coaches, we would have fixed that. It's a combination of, South Tama community has changed a lot. We're a high poverty community. We've talked about that social economic factor. And I'm glad the state is taking a look at that. And added that to the equation. One thing they have talked about is this experiment that they're doing with football with the kind
of the classifications, moving those things around. They're just getting into their first year, and unfortunately, South Tama was just at the tail end of that 3A and wasn't able to really move a class this year. But you never know. The numbers move from year to year, so maybe next year that would be, be the thing.
So they have talked. I've been to some meetings and things with other activities directors in our statewide meeting that this is something that the Boys Association is taking very seriously and thinking about doing in other sports. I do see that coming along, maybe. In other boys sports in the future, which is a good thing. That state is listening to, not just
being responsive,
being responsive to the challenges that are facing high poverty schools. Ourselves, like the Des Moines metro area and other schools throughout the state. So the gap is changing. And I think the other thing when we talk about poverty and challenges facing our community. That really puts kids, especially in high school, at a hard choice sometimes.
Right.
Should I play football or should I help go through this season, or I could support my family in another way by working. And there's a lot of options available to kids. When I was in high school, it was you're going to do this activity. You don't need to work.
Right.
We want you to be a part of this and be a part. And the schools that we face, that isn't really a hard decision for some of those parents.
Exactly.
At Solon and Williamsburg here tonight, right? Sure. They're saying, it's not saying that they don't have poverty, but it makes some hard decisions. And when you don't have success, that makes that decision a little easier for you. So I think the kids that we have I would not trade the kids for anyone. Our coaches are amazing, and our kids and our community. And people that come out here every Friday night and to come to the home volleyball game last night. We had a great crowd.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
And appreciate everybody coming out.
The student sections have really been traveling well this year. That's been exciting. We're going to hear from Caden Tim during halftime, and he's been really active, and a bunch of other kids coming out to games, and that's really great to see. So I think just if we can get that success and we're having some of that in certain classes. Bright spots of it, obviously our freshman football team, our sophomore frosh team is doing pretty well. You can see that can be appealing to kids saying, hey, I want to be a part of that. Or, currently right now we have an 8th grade girls class that's, tearing it up in the volleyball. I keep seeing the scores on Facebook, and they dominated Grinnell and last night. And, that makes people excited to be a part of that. And so, Yeah, absolutely. Your position, you've been now AD, is it in the second year or third year now?
Second year.
Second year, okay. So South Tama kind of changes the format for the administrator roles at the high school, and you're brought on as a full-time AD, whereas before you had kind of been in a coordinator position, is that right, before that? And the AD was split between an assistant principal and an AD at the same time. I'm curious, how has that been going now into your second year with that format, South Tama having a principal, an assistant principal, and a full-time AD? What's that experience been like so far?
It's been really good. I think it's helped. the coaches would be the great people to ask about that. But I
Right.
feel like I can focus so much more on supporting our student participants, our student activities, our coaches. In the past, when someone's been having to be pulled away to deal as an assistant principal role, and that assistant principal can work on supporting our teaching staff and our student, whatever that is. So
Yeah.
it's allowed the two of us to do more, what we, have more time.
Right.
Really, I can support. We always say we want to improve activities. We're just talking about that. So now I can work with the rec program, or I can work with our youth. Get involved with the middle school, talk to the middle school coaches. I don't
Yeah.
know that if you were an AP assistant principal, if you have much time to go down and go to
Yeah.
the middle school and or go down to the elementary, or set up, like next week we're going to have the teams at the high school go down and see the kids and
That's great.
interact with the middle school and high school kids, and
That's huge.
go to the middle school football game. And so I think it's been awesome too. I think it was a really good choice for the school to
Yeah.
take that priority and say, hey, we care about that type of
Absolutely.
thing. And yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get you out of here on this. Kind of give us some thoughts about upcoming activities that maybe are set to start in October or November, some things looking forward as we go on here in the fall calendar.
Yeah, like we're getting into the week of October 16th. We're kind of winding down. Volleyball will start their postseason on October 17th with an opponent yet to be determined, and they're having a good year. Cross country, I know we're looking forward to seeing what might happen with those boys. Ranked currently at 16th in Class 3A, and they ran up at the.
I didn't look online. Did you get results from their out-of-state meet today? I didn't see what happened there.
They finished 33rd out of 40
Okay.
teams. They're in the championship bracket.
Yep.
So they bracketed it like the gold. It was considered the gold division. So they were in the gold division.
Awesome.
And so out of 40 teams, they got 33rd.
Very good.
I'm not really sure about other teams that were there. There's so many from around, but
Right.
they did. It sounds like I didn't see times, but it looked
Nice.
like a good time. And yes, other events coming up. Then we'll go into the fall musical. This year will be a variety show. It's a
Okay.
Greek-themed variety show directed by Chris McFay. It'll go on stage November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at the high school Little Theater, and we're excited to see those students put that on. Then we'll go roll into our winter seasons, and we're excited for the second year of girls wrestling program. Really excited to see those girls out there. We've got the high interest in it. So we'll host a huge meet on Thursday, November 16th. Last year we had over 100 students, girls.
I'll tell you,
about 17 teams, and it was amazing atmosphere to be a part of.
From our broadcast standpoint, we were live from that meet last year. That was our highest viewed event. Period. Winter, fall, anything. So the excitement is there for girls wrestling, and South Tama meets it kind of head on, sending 3 to the state tournament, and I can't wait to see how it goes this year.
I'm excited. We had really high middle school numbers last year.
Yeah.
We finished the season we had 5 girls that participated.
Yeah.
I imagine we'll have more than double that, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to watch our senior go out and try to defend her state title, Bailey Ellsbury. So that's kind of a big one. Obviously we have boys wrestling and boys basketball, girls basketball. We have a new boys basketball coach this year, Craig Harrison. Yep.
Yeah.
He is our middle school football coach, current high school social studies teacher. So he's excited to get started and kind of get out there.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Chelsea. It was wonderful just getting to chat a little bit of South Tama activities and get a view into the high school. I really do appreciate your time. And I have to say, from our perspective on the broadcast end, I just want to say a big thank you from Trojan Country for all your support, your coordination. Not a week goes by that we're not going back and forth several times, just trying to get what we do set up, and you've been hugely helpful for that. So thank you so much for what you've done and continue to do with us here at Trojan Country and for South Tama Sports.
I want to thank you guys for going to the games, and I'm glad that they're getting broadcast. There was a time there where we were dark, and I'm glad that we're back, and I appreciate you guys' support. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more pregame show here in a moment. Thanks for being with us on Trojan Country. All right, we're out. Welcome back to the Berkwood Village pregame show. We're live from Williamsburg High School. We've got about 15 minutes before kickoff here in Williamsburg. We've got both South Tama and the Raiders warming up on the field. We're going to talk Williamsburg here a little bit, get to know South Tama's opponent this evening. Hunter, I'm going to throw it to you. Tell us kind of what you found out about this Williamsburg team. They're highly ranked, highly decorated, and how do they match up with South Tama here this evening?
Yes, Darvin. So we're playing tonight at the #1 ranked Williamsburg Raiders. They are currently 4-0 in their 2023-2024 play, and they are currently ranked 17th in all classes. Previously, they were a 2A school. Of course, we've kind of chit-chatted a little bit about the classifications. They are now bumped up to 3A, where they proceeded to go 12-1 on their season last year.
Wow.
The semifinal matchup was a win against Wahlert Catholic Dubuque, 31-7. But then they lost in the finals 10-6 against Central Lyon George Little Rock.
Wow.
So
they make it all the way to the championship game last year, fall a bit short, and I have to imagine we've got a lot of returners. I see a lot of familiar names off of what I recall from last year.
Absolutely. So. From what I was able to discover or do in my scouting report, there was 9 returners to the team who previously were starters on that 12-1 team. They were either juniors or sophomores. They all came back. There's just a couple notable ones was Kellen Cockrell. He was a defensive back last year. This year, he's going to be, I believe, starter on quarterback. Logan Rithwich is their kicker. Came back, obviously scored some points in that finals game, so he's used to the big situation moments. Derek Weiskopf, who has, as I've come to learn, committed to Iowa. He was a wide receiver linebacker. I believe they're moving him to safety this year. So
wow. So and he stands, what, 6'4", something like that,
yes.
I want to say? And talk about a big body in the backfield. I recall Weiskopf and Cockrell and a lot of these players off of Williamsburg's basketball team last year. And the size and athleticism really stood out. I think we're going to see that here on the field tonight, too.
Yes, and Weiskopf does stand 5'11", 190 pounds. So I think they might be doing it on a little lower side from what I think on that height. But still a very able-bodied, very quick-moving individual. Of course, there's Trenton Davies on the offensive defensive line coming back. So far this season, they, of course, gone 4-0, 42-14 against West Branch. They're a 1A school. Week 2, which has so far been their closest matchup, 21-20 against Xavier.
That one went into overtime, if I recall right.
Yes.
And they squeaked one out against a pretty tough Xavier Catholic team. Xavier, however, drops one to Pella last week, and so that's been they're maybe kind of tailing off. So big win there for Williamsburg last couple weeks ago.
And then week 3, they played against Clear Creek Amana, won that game 49-20. They're a 4A school. And their 3A matchup in week 4 was 48-14 against Fort Madison.
So Fort Madison actually gets a touchdown on the board in the first quarter in that one. They scored first, held Williamsburg scoreless through the first quarter, and then the Raiders exploded in the second quarter. 34 unanswered points in the second quarter, 14 more unanswered points in the third, and by the time it had been salted away, Fort Madison gets one more touchdown in that one. Just going to run down some quick game leaders for that one. Kellen Cockrell passes for 196 yards, comes away with 4 touchdowns. Niall Sin, the junior running back, kind of their lead back, had 78 yards off of 9 attempts and a touchdown. Braylon Wetjen, the senior wide receiver, he's kind of been the standout wideout, if you want to say it that way. He had 3 receptions for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. And on the defensive end, Cale Moore, it was kind of a platoon effort for the Raiders, but he had 6 tackles and an interception to lead the defense for Williamsburg. That was last week against Fort Madison. And the Bloodhounds themselves took their first loss against Williamsburg. They're only 3-1, so some pretty good competition, I'd say, for Williamsburg. South Tama going to profile completely different. As Trojan fans know, the Trojans have been kind of struggling this year, and they take a big loss against CPU. It will be interesting to see how that script kind of plays out and how the Trojans respond.
Yeah, definitely a tough matchup today. So just to kind of talk about some of those key players on the side of Williamsburg, of course, you mentioned Kellen Cockrell. He's a senior. He currently leads Class 3A in total touchdowns at 17 and passing touchdowns at 16 to, up to this point, have a 68% throwing completion rate. So almost two-thirds of every pass going downfield is going to be caught by somebody.
Goodness.
Braylon Wetjen, who's a senior, ties for the lead in 3A for receiving touchdowns. So that Cockrell-Wetjen connection is something that we're going to see tonight a lot. And he currently ties 10th, Wetjen does, in 3A for receiving yards. He currently has 315 yards on the season on 13 receptions for an average of 24.2 yards per carry. So once he gets the ball, he's going to run it downfield, and he's going to be fast. Defensively, Micah Lang, who's a junior, leads the 3A in total sacks at 7.5.
So the Raiders able to really get pressure on their opponents. And again, this is not coming against 1A kind of scrub teams, if you want to say it like that. We're talking Clear Creek Amana in the WAMAC Conference, a perennial powerhouse in Xavier, and where they took them 20, to within a point.
Yes.
And then Fort Madison, who had been undefeated, and West Branch, who also was ranked going into their matchup against Williamsburg. So they're doing this and getting the production despite being up against some pretty talented teams.
Absolutely, and then that all comes back to the coaching. And, of course, Kurt Ritchie, I believe his name.
Yep.
Yes. Who's the head coach, has been doing it for a while. Of course, he is going to be assisted by, most notably, Austin Blythe, who, for those of you who follow the NFL or follow Hawkeye football, he is the current assistant coach and the son-in-law of Kurt Ritchie. Blythe is coming off of a 7-year career as an offensive lineman in the NFL.
Okay.
He was drafted by the Colts, then played for the Rams, Chiefs, and retired as a Seahawk in February of this year.
Oh, incredible.
So he is just coming off of his career.
He comes home and just kind of bolsters the Williamsburg coaching staff all the more. I recall Coach Ritchie as an AD a few years ago, and he's always been very kind and helpful. Coach Dorn had good words to say about him as well.
Yes.
Any final thoughts before I get down to the starters here? I'm going to give us Williamsburg starters before we jump in.
Absolutely. So just kind of want to put this game in perspective. South Tama is currently behind in the overall matchups. Last time we faced them was in 2017, where Williamsburg did take us to a 49-13 loss. But definitely looking forward to this matchup tonight.
Yeah, so South Tama, we see Williamsburg several times a year and on all different other sports, but this year it is kind of the first time since 2017, so it's been a little while since we've gotten the Raiders on the football field, and here they come onto the field across your screen there. And so we're going to jump into your starters. This is going to be Williamsburg offense on the line. They're going to have senior number 51, Brian Rydell. At a guard, number 54, senior Gavin Vesey. Then it's another guard, number 55, senior Simeon Armbrecht. At the tackles, it'll be number 74, junior Trenton Davies, and number 71, senior Braden Plotz. At the tailback position, we talked about him earlier, 5'10", 165-pound junior, number 27, Niall Sin. He's got 223 yards on the season, a couple of touchdowns. They're led at quarterback by number 1, senior Kellen Cockrell. Cockrell standing 6'4", 195 pounds. As you said earlier, he has just under 800 passing yards this season and 16 touchdowns with only 3 interceptions. At the receiver positions, it's Weiskopf and Wetjen. Weiskopf, number 12, the 6'3 senior, and number 0, Braylon Wetjen, a 5'11 senior. Also in the receiver corps, number 6, Race Heitman. He's a junior. And number 18, senior Clayton Steckley. The tight end for the Raiders is number 8, senior Caleb Welsh. On the defensive end, quickly on the D-line, it's going to be number 55, Armbrecht, number 74, Trenton Davies, number 9, Michael Lang. He was the tackle and sacks leader, as you mentioned earlier. And then number 57, Ian Stumpf. He's a senior. The linebackers for the Raiders, number 6, Race Heitman, number 3, Cale Moore, number 18, Clayton Steckley, and number 27, the running back, and going two ways, Niall Sin. A lot of these players playing both sides of the ball, which is impressive to see given their kind of their resume. Then in the defensive backfield for the Raiders, number 0, Braylon Wetjen, Kellen Cockrell and Derek Weisskopf. So they're putting all their firepower on both sides of the ball. The kicker for the Raiders, number 11, Logan Rethwich, and the punter is Derek Weisskopf. So the returner we expect to see tonight probably going to be Race Heitman for both kicking and punting. And let's see, how much time we got there, Hunter?
We got 6:05 left on the clock.
6:05 on the clock. We're going to take a quick break while the Williamsburg band gives the well, hold on, let's see. We might stay live for that national anthem. While we're waiting, we're going to go down the lineup for your STC Trojans. Starters for the Trojans at the quarterback, it's number 9, senior Daniel Weiss. Weiss standing 6 foot, 195 pounds. The running backs for South Tama tonight, captain number 3, junior Cody Blocker, and the fullback, number 28, Jacob Youngbear. Have to give an apologies to the Youngbears. We had the younger and the elder Youngbear brothers switched around. The two had flopped jerseys when Jacob moved into the fullback position. He couldn't keep that number 72, I believe, number he had before. So he switched over to 28. We thought we had Kyle on the field, but it was actually Jacob last week. So Jacob getting the start at fullback for the Trojans. At a wide receiver, senior number 7, Jeremy Dolash, and fellow senior number 4, Drayton White. Kinzer Jeanette will line up as the tight end for STC. He's a junior. The O-line here, stop me if we get to the anthem here. I don't want to kind of run on top of that. But on the line for South Tama's offense at the center position tonight will be number 72, Juan Robles. And some offensive line members moving around here a little bit. Keaton Sokol out of the lineup tonight, and so that's kind of moved around some different linemen on the O-line. So Robles comes in at center. Wyatt Sermon stays in at a guard, as does Miguel Medina. Medina slides over from the center position. Then at the tackles, it's going to be captain number 61, Kyan McBride, and O-line number 69, Josh Stull. So we're just about ready to have the national anthem here. We're going to cut away and get you some audio of that, and we'll be right back with kickoff here at Bob Murphy Stadium. Thanks for being with us.
Along with Katie Carrico. The colors are being presented by the Williamsburg VFW Post 8797. Ladies and gentlemen, to our America, the Star Spangled Banner.
All right, so we're just a couple minutes away from kickoff here at Williamsburg High School this evening. South Tama and Williamsburg facing off. We'll continue down the starting lineup for the defensive side of South Tama. At the defensive tackle position, number 72, Juan Robles. Coming in for his first start of the season, defensive tackle, number 62, junior Wyatt Silhonic. At the defensive end positions, same numbers as we've had pretty much throughout the whole season here. It's going to be Dolash and McBride, the two defensive ends. The linebackers for the Trojans, number 28, Jacob Youngbear, and number 52, Miguel Medina, playing the inside linebacker positions. At the outside linebackers, it's going to be number 10, Kinzer Jeanette, and the number 4, Drayton White. Daniel Weiss and Cody Block Blocker will be in the defensive backfield for the Trojans, and Tanner Large, getting his second start of the season as a sophomore, will hold down the safety position for the Trojans. The kicker for STC is Adrian Valle. South Tama looks to probably have its returners be Cody Blocker and Kinzer Jeanette. Jeanette and Blocker have been doing kind of the work in the absence of Gavin Bridgewater. Bridgewater absent again, along with all the same players that were not able to suit up last week. I believe Chase Gustafson done for the year with an injury. Marty Garcia and Tyrus Clegg also out with injury. Bridgewater and Anthony Thompson out as well. We heard from Coach Dorn earlier this week. He does expect Bridgewater and Thompson to return to the lineup next week. They are both looking to be cleared medically on Monday. And so we look to have them back for homecoming week against Grinnell. But still going to be kind of a skeleton crew for this varsity squad, and a lot of sophomores and freshmen kind of streaming into the lineup to fill the gaps tonight. And it comes at an unfortunate time as South Tama lining up against one of the best teams in the state of Iowa, the Williamsburg Raiders. And we'll see how the Trojans respond. They have an opportunity here to play a good, clean game, and we'll see if they're up to that challenge tonight here against Williamsburg. Trojans are coached by head coach Nate Dorn. He's assisted by Court Ahrens, Jared Bridgewater, Dustin Pesca, Justin Suhanik, and Josh Bly. Williamsburg head coach is Kurt Ritchie, as we discussed earlier.
Yeah, if you don't mind me just jumping in. I mean,
please.
Of course, we see all the accolades, all the great things that Williamsburg has done, of course, last year and so far this year. But I did want to note that in my findings of doing research of Williamsburg, Kinzer Jeanette is currently tied 10th in 3A on kick return receptions. He currently has 7 with a return of a total yardage of 85 yards for about an average of 12.1 yards per return. So doing an excellent job on kickoff returns for Kinzer Jeanette, so I just wanted to take a moment to highlight that.
Absolutely. Jeanette has been one of the kind of go-getters for the South Tama roster this season. He's stayed healthy and really been a spark plug in the backfield as well as in the linebacker core. Here's our captains. We'll see if we can kind of choppily get the camera over there. So captains going out for the coin toss. Gavin Bridgewater, Daniel Weiss, Kyan McBride, and Cody Blocker. And we're just a couple moments away from kickoff here. Reminder, we're going to have volleyball coming your way tomorrow morning. It's going to be the STC Invitational. Trojans start off action at 8:30 a.m. live from the Roundhouse. So if you want to get some South Tama volleyball action in to start your weekend off, we'll have that for you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, looking forward to that volleyball matchups. Of course, I saw that they had a hard loss against number 8th ranked
AGWSR came in. That was really, they kind of dominated the action, and be a bounce back opportunity for South Tama tomorrow against a host of teams, and kind of that best of 3 game format kind of changes things a little bit. Just the mindset of not having to go best of 5, I think, kind of puts the atmosphere in a little different place. So here we are ready to go. Rethwich going to kick off for the Raiders. Back deep is going to be Blocker and Jeanette. Is that Jeanette there, the far side?
Yes.
Yep, okay.
All right, here's the kick, and we're underway.
Going to go right to Blocker. Scoops it up. And a big hit right at the 20-yard line. So Blocker gets stopped up. Able to pop right back up, though.
Yeah, that was John Eichhorn on the hit. So big hit. Of course, these Williamsburg folks are going to be, coming in. It's like, oh, it's an 0-4 team. They're going to still play hard. And, of course, since it's homecoming, they're going to have a lot more to play for than just another win in the tally.
Yeah, big crowd out here tonight, and a decent-looking showing over there on the South Tama side. Not a too bad of looking South Tama crowd on the road cheering on the Trojans this evening. And the Trojans will get the offense going first here. Going to be Weiss in the shotgun, 3 receivers out wide, and Blocker in the backfield. Weiss, quick pass to Dolash, trying to get that connection going. Short yardage gain there for Dolash.
Yeah, the one thing that I want to see South Tama do for this game is kind of play what they know, the short, quick passes, the runs on the edges. Just, you're playing against a very tough and very well-coached opponent. Got to learn from them a little bit when you're on the sidelines, but at most, don't force those turnovers like we've seen in CPU.
Yep. Second and
8.
Second and 8.
Yes.
There you go. Hand off to blocker right up the middle. Stopped just beyond the 25-yard line.
That's going to be good for 1 yard.
Picks up a yard, setting up 3rd and 7. Still deep into South Tama territory.
Yeah, I really want to see, of course, the better improvement that we've seen over the year or from our front line. Of course, they're able to make some good holes against about similar-sized opponents. So the slightly taller, slightly larger D-line of Williamsburg is going to create them trouble, but just got to play our game.
3rd down here for the Trojans. 2 running backs in the backfield. Fake. No, it's going to be a handoff straight to blocker. Short gain on the carry. So a pretty straightforward offense we see here from South Tama, and the Williamsburg defense able to hold pretty tight.
Absolutely. I assume South Tama, coming off of that loss against CPU, they're just going to play what they know, get the nerves out, and of course, don't force the ball over. That's the big thing here on defense.
4th down, and Race Heitman stepping back to return the punt from Adrian Valle. Valle, the punter back there, had trouble in the punt game last week. Heitman will pick it up, get across the 50, quickly gets to the sideline, and Heitman just takes it back for a touchdown. Easy as you please. Whoa, buddy. Williamsburg scores before even getting their offense onto the field.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of redo this whole thing. South Tama's going to get the kickoff here in a moment. It was a clean-looking punt, but the punt return team maybe just a little deer in headlights, as I think they've been thinking about this Williamsburg matchup, knowing they're going up against a ranked team.
Yeah.
And kind of just got to get the cleats dirty a little bit and stop thinking about the matchup and just thinking about the players in front of them.
Yeah, that's the one thing too. As Reith Witch back for the kick, and it looks like it's good.
PAT sails through for Logan Reswich, and it's a 7-0 game. Williamsburg up early.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I just kind of think that it has to do with the butterflies in their stomach. They're, of course, special teams last time against CPU had a lot of trouble, so I'm sure they were thinking about that. But it looked like it was a clean kick. It was kind of a low snap, but it was good. And, of course, Valle was able to punt that 30-plus yards without doing quick math in my head. So far, so good. Of course, getting that tackle or unable to get that tackle is just unfortunate. But
the snap and the punt looked good. It was just the kind of return unit was not ready to go. And Heitman, a very fast and talented player, just scoots up the sideline, and just like that, they're out to a quick lead. So we'll see if South Tama can kind of buckle down here a little bit and maybe move the ball on offense. Reswich to kick.
And to receive, it's going to be Blocker and Jeanette. Ball's away. Blocker's going to take it at the 5-yard line.
Down the near sideline, weaving through traffic. Stops at nearly the same spot he did last time out, right at the 20. And so that's where South Tama will start its next drive. The first drive went 3 and out. A punt resulted in a touchdown by Race Heitman.
Yeah, so, of course, you got drive 1 out of the way. You didn't force any fumbles. You didn't get forced on any interceptions. There was no sacks on Weiss. So far, a clean offensive game for South Tama. Of course, we, again, got points scored on special teams, but offense is looking very clean out there.
Here's 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Blocker in the backfield. Dolash on the near side. Hand off to Blocker. Into the scrum, and there's nowhere to go. Blocker stopped for no gain.
Yeah, I almost want to see like maybe those quick routes again to Dolash and Jeanette. I know we've been stacking up guys on the far side, wide out. So I would want to see maybe try to get that pass game going. I know our rush game so far hasn't amounted to very much, but then again, that's also because of the size difference there at the line.
2nd and 11, short loss on the play. Setting up Weiss in the shotgun. Pressure coming here from Williamsburg. Quick pass out from Weiss to save his own neck there, and it falls out of bounds. I don't see a flag coming out for intentional grounding, so it'll just go to 3rd down.
Nope, with that, he had some pressure coming on him. He had to drop back, and that was a very smart play from Weiss to know that I got to get the balls out of my hand so to not result in a loss. So awesome play by Weiss.
3rd and 11 now. In for the Trojans, that far receiver, Tanner Large, splitting out wide. Jeanette, the tight end, and Dolash on the near side. Screen pass and an interception. It's going to be Heitman again, and Heitman will trot into the end zone for another touchdown. So Race Heitman gets a punt return for a touchdown and intercepts Daniel Weiss right there on 3rd down and brings it in for another score.
Yeah, that was something that South Tama just needed to at least not happen. Unfortunate, again, for Heitman to take that in back to the house. But, you know, it's one of those things that you just got to learn. You're going to go back into the tape. You're going to see, oh, this is the coverage. They were showing blitz in that dime package. They were able to fake out Weiss on that.
So Rethwich setting up for the PAT. Low kick, but it does sail through, and that will make it 14-0. So just like that, not even 9 minutes on the clock, and Williamsburg scored twice with their defense. So they got 2 touchdowns on the board. South Tama has not had to play defense yet against Williamsburg here.
Yep.
And that's going to set up South Tama for it. Mentally, I think it's doing more damage than anything.
Absolutely. So far, Heitman on special teams, able to get a 55-yard punt return for a touchdown. And, of course, Heitman there for a 22-yard interception touchdown against Weiss. So, unfortunate set of circumstances South Tama finds themselves in with 9-12 left to play in the first quarter. So, definitely a tall order so far.
And if you're South Tama coaches, I think you're telling your players and yourself, let's just play this thing one drive at a time, one quarter at a time, and just see what we can do in small chunks rather than looking too hard at the scoreboard. So
yeah, and the biggest thing is that they're going to be able to take away, you know, all the film, and they're going to improve for next week.
Blocker will take it again.
Actually, that's Jeanette.
Oh, so Jeanette pulls it away on the near side. A little further return there for Jeanette, but still short of the 25-yard line, and that'll set up South Tama on their 3rd drive. Williamsburg getting a punt return for a touchdown after South Tama went for a quick 3-and-out, and then an interception on South Tama's last drive allowed Williamsburg to put the ball in the end zone again.
Yeah, going back to that last drive, of course, Weiss had that pressure going in on him, the fake out on those reads. Of course, you know, very well coached. They're going to be able to show some stunts, be able to, you know, kind of fake the quarterback into thinking about, you know, what plays there are. But still, I would fully trust Weiss with his decision making. This is just a well coached and well played team.
Here's 1st down for the Trojans. Handoff to Blocker into a wall of Raiders, and he's driven back for a short loss.
I would really like to see what we saw against CPU. I know there was some instances where we were able to get the edge rushing going a little more that we saw with, I believe it was Blocker.
It was Blocker kind of going to the outside. I think it has to be tonight with South Tama having 3 different offensive linemen out of position. Moving those linemen to kind of move the ball out to the outside has got to be a challenge with those kids.
For sure.
Kind of doing well. And as I say it here, Blocker kind of pops himself out to the outside there, but no gain, takes a short loss, if anything, on that carry, and that'll bring up 3rd and 13.
Yeah, but again, you know, of course, we've gotten a couple tackles for a loss. This drive still clean, so we're still being able to, you know, not force any turnovers. That was, again, a trouble for CPU, but still tons of things to improve on as, you know, the season goes on. And, of course, there's homecoming next week against Grinnell.
Yep.
So that's going to be an exciting matchup. I know they're currently 2-2 on the season, so definitely a very winnable game. But we can't take Williamsburg out yet. We're not quite done.
Another interception again by Heitman. My goodness.
Wow.
Race Heitman has done so something's clearly kind of being telegraphed, or Heitman's able to see something that Weiss is doing when he's dropping back, and he's been right there to pick him off in nearly the same spot twice in a row. And so Race Heitman in let's see here, just about 5 minutes of play, has gotten a punt return touchdown and 2 interceptions and 2 pick sixes.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Heitman is currently the man of Williamsburg. He's kind of been doing it all on both sides of the ball, both sides being special teams and defense. We have yet to see the offense of this Williamsburg team because of Heitman.
So the PAT that time no good from Logan Rethwich, and we will redo this kickoff once more. Man, I don't know that I've seen a game start like this before, honey.
I know. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances. You know, we kind of mentioned it when we were talking with Chelsea Aarons about the classifications, and then South Tama was just above that cutoff for 3A. And it creates situations like this where we're going to play against, you know, #1 ranked team, Williamsburg.
And the tough thing is that we pull in Williamsburg and Benton, who kind of move up from, so their free and reduced lunch numbers and their kind of equity numbers push them up a class into 3A, and we get the unfortunate position of having both of them in our district now, and South Tama unable to take advantage and move down to 2A in that case. So that's just the nature of where South Tama is enrollment-wise, where we've kind of grown slightly year to year. And
that boot is going to go back this time to Blocker.
Blocker getting a setup block by Jeanette, but it's going to be short of the 20, and a flag comes out.
All right, yep, that's the line official closest to our side of the field.
A 15-yard return there by Blocker, and
it's a 15-yard penalty, but face mat or
holding. It'll be a hold against South Tama, and so that's going to back them up. My goodness. It's going to back them up right into their goal line. And half the distance to the goal line, which is basically right on the goal line, given that they started just outside, just beyond the 15.
Yeah, he was Blocker was tackled just before the 20-yard line, so that is going to practically back us up into our first yard, I believe.
Yeah.
So again, an unfortunate set of circumstances. You don't want to do that on special teams, of course, but we gotta have to play our game.
Yeah. All right, here's quarterback Daniel Weiss. He's got his fellow captain Cody Blocker in the backfield. 3 receivers out, motion, quarterback keep up the middle. And, 2 passing plays get intercepted here. I think you're going to run the ball for a little bit and just kind of get things calmed down and try to be at least put Williamsburg's offense on the field. I mean, if you can get a punt off and kind of give your offense a break. I mean, even though a lot of these kids are going to play both ways, but.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing that I do want to highlight a little bit is South Tama's defense, for the most part, has been very well this year.
Yeah, that's been our bright spot compared to the offense.
Yeah, just unfortunate things just weren't able to get going at the start of the season offensively. But, defensively, for the most part, we've been doing pretty good. And Blocker's going to take this one
out to the outside.
he's going to cut up field for positive play.
Biggest gain there so far for South Tama. Cody Blocker gets to the outside. About a 7-8 yard run, setting up 3rd and 3, maybe a 3 and a long 2 even.
Yeah, I mean, again, positive plays. Of course, we saw that against CPU. Blocker running out to the edge. He's got great agility when he wants to turn up field, and he has good vision as well. So, of course, we want to kind of lean on that. Of course, he's going to, get to learn what sort kind of these defense packages that Williamsburg is going to be showing tonight, and of course, that'll get him prepared against Grinnell.
So here's Dolash, the near receiver. I think White on the far side. And another run up the middle. This time it's Blocker carrying the ball. Nowhere to go there for Cody Blocker. And that will set up 4th down. So another punt situation coming here, and that's really been the critical the critical unit with South Tama's offense unable to deliver. They put their punt team on the field, and that's where things have really fallen short. We saw several miscues in different spots. Both, it's not all on Valle as the punter. It's the whole unit. Here's Valle again. Flag goes out. Quickly punts it away. Heitman will receive.
He's going to cut it upfield again, and he might get it in there if he's got a blocker.
Heitman is a blocker. And that's 4 straight touchdowns for Race Heitman. 2 interceptions, 2 punt return touchdowns. And a penalty comes out.
Hopefully
so we'll
this is against Williamsburg.
Yeah, we'll see how this shakes out. And I don't know. It was right after the ball got snapped. And it is against South Tama. So the penalty against South Tama will not help the cause, and the touchdown will stand.
Yep, and they're going to decline that penalty. So, of course, the play happens as is. They get a touchdown. Again, Heitman, this time with a 50-yard punt return for a touchdown.
And this has got to be just a situation where South Tama has kind of defeated themselves before they even stepped on the field.
Absolutely.
You can just
the body language is definitely not positive.
So Logan Rethwich lining up. He missed his last one. We'll see that one kind of sails left, but it does go through. So Rethwich gets the PAT, and that makes it 27-0.
Heitman definitely making a highlight reel for himself in this first quarter.
I don't know. I mean, it's credit to him being an athletic player. I just think South Tama's kind of found itself into some repetitive trouble, where they're kind of repeating the same mistake twice, and it just happens to be the same player that's in that spot. Heitman, the punt returner, and
absolutely.
So he's going to be the one to receive the punts.
Yeah, I mean, to fair shake at Williamsburg, their blocking downfield has been absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we had our South Tama defender at that point coming downfield, of course, had a really key block, which, some schools might not be thinking about or the block would be shed a little bit easier.
Right.
So
we've got the returners kind of flipped. So we have Kinzer Jeanette now on our near side and Cody Blocker on the far side. So Jeanette with the sleeve and the white sleeve and the white legging. So if you're looking at the returners as we're going to move the camera here, that's who is who.
He's going to return that ball.
Jeanette on the return, juking through traffic, gets past the 25, and he'll be stopped just around the 36, 37-yard line. I think maybe the best field position South Tama has seen so far here in this first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe they're starting on that 26-yard line, which is their best yardage that they have all game. So positive sides on the return, rushing-wise, giving us pretty decent field position here. Comparatively.
Yeah. Well, we saw a nice outside run by Blocker last time out. We'll see if the run game can kind of keep things going. And South Tama not going into their power I formation yet. We're seeing receivers still to the outside. Some more pressure coming here from Williamsburg. Another quick pass and another interception. So,
yeah, that ball was just tipped up there. Otherwise, that was a good throw right at the top of the jump. Just wasn't quite the connection and timing that was needed. Went off the helmet, intercepted by Williamsburg.
So John Eichhorn, a defensive back, well, he's listed as a defensive back, but he was lined up kind of as a D end there, had pressure coming from the left side, forced Weiss out of the pocket. Weiss kind of dumped it off before, I think it was Large that was the intended receiver, and it gets picked away. Did you catch who the interception?
Like who was targeted?
Who grabbed the interception out?
Oh, I believe that was John Eichhorn.
No, Eichhorn was on the near side.
Oh, he was on the near?
That's okay, though.
Okay.
Here's Keenan Killen Cockrell. Going to throw downfield, looking for Braylon Wetjen, the senior standout wide receiver. Incomplete pass on first down. And so here's our first look now at this Williamsburg offense. They're led by senior quarterback Kellen Cockrell. Cockrell standing 6'4", 195. In the backfield, junior running back Niall Sin. A whistle before the play starts.
Illegal procedure penalty against the Raiders.
So that'll march things back a little bit. Nice break in the action here for South Tama, setting up 2nd and 19. 2nd and 15, excuse me. Cockrell rolling left, looking down the field. Dumps it off. Number 18. Cuts back. And that is number 18, Clayton Steckley, a senior, trotting into the end zone.
Yeah. And that was a good play by Cockrell. Rolling out, the receiver was able to notice, hey, my quarterback's in trouble, kind of cut back on his route. Just wide open play. No South Tama defender, linebacker was there. Wonderful done.
Another PAT attempt coming here for Rethwich. And he's looking to make it 34. So Trojans will probably not, I don't believe continuous clock starts until the second half as a PAT sails through. Reminder, we're going to have an interview with South Tama senior Caden Tim at halftime during the Salt Creek Wind halftime show, so make sure to stick around for that. Coming up at half, we heard from Chelsea Ahrens, had a nice conversation with her, South Tama's second-year activities director. And so if you didn't happen to catch that one, that'll be during the Brookwood Village pregame show. So tune back in or check that out on YouTube once the broadcast is over tonight if you want to get a look at our conversation with STC AD Chelsea Ahrens. And then coming up at halftime, like I said, it's going to be Caden Tim coming over. We're going to talk kind of all things South Tama. Has been kind of a super fan for this fall sports teams. He's been in the student section kind of leading things for the Trojans student groups. And looking forward to having him back into the booth here. We talked to Caden back in 2018, I believe, when he was either in middle school or late elementary. When I was with Kat Campbell Courier doing radio for her. And he's coming back in his senior year. We're going to have an interview with him at halftime. So that's coming up. Please stay tuned and stick with us. Here's another kickoff coming from Logan Rethwich. And it's going to just go into the end zone. Touchback will start the Trojans on the 20.
Trojans already on their 6th drive tonight, so wow.
Yeah, hard to know what to say. We haven't really seen much. I mean, there's been so much scoring, and kickoffs have really populated this game. And I think from here we're going to see probably a second and third unit for Williamsburg sooner than later.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's where and when we'll get to see a little bit more of a competitive contest, and hopefully can kind of tease out some of the things that South Tama might be able to do on the field.
Yeah, so far the biggest positive yardage play was Cody Blocker running up off the edge for 5 yards.
Weiss looking to throw, pressure, and he's going to be sacked in the backfield. That was number 52 for the Raiders, Carson Greer. He's a sophomore.
Yeah, so again, this front line of this Williamsburg, all returners from that 12-1 team, all of them have been coached by Blythe at least in some way, shape, or another, of course, with all the head coaching coming from Kurt. So still excellent front job so far. They did have that penalty, but
here's a pitch out to Blocker on the near side. Nowhere to go, and he's gobbled up near the line of scrimmage.
And so definitely an uphill battle for South Tama.
34-0 the score. If you're just tuning in and wondering how we got here, the Raiders have returned 2 punts for a touchdown. They've had 2 interceptions returned for a touchdown, a third interception that was stopped after the catch, but then a receiving
35
touchdown
yard from Cockrell
to Stackley.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that kind of brings us up to now. South Tama just kind of plugging away, trying to get into Williamsburg territory. Blocker, the running back, nowhere to go.
Yeah, I definitely would expect the Williamsburg to bring in second, third string guys. Of course, they want to kind of pad the score. Williamsburg does.
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely. They need their kids to get some stats too, and that's going to be part of it. And with all these points, the score getting run up, and so here we're going to see Heitman coming out of the game. So the new punt returner for the Raiders is going to be Clayton Steckley. So Steckley and Wetjen will be back to receive the punt from Adrian Valle on 4th down. And here we are. Punt is away. It's high.
Takes a South Tama bounce at least.
Right around the 40. And it will be down just outside the 45-yard line in South Tama territory. So the punt gets off clean, and the Raiders will start their offense on the 46. Travis Chichok on the stop. Or on the, well, not on the stop, but down the football there after the punt.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing, too. Maybe it was discussed with Valle after the last couple returned for touchdowns. Very nice high punt.
All right, here's Cockrell and company. A little traffic jam there behind the quarterback.
Yep, false start.
It's got to be, we've seen a couple of penalties push back the Raiders here, and they've definitely not had a game start anything close like this. And so the rhythm probably, as disruptive to Williamsburg as it's been to South Tama. Of course, Williamsburg's not going to complain one bit, being up 34-0.
Yeah, they're going to bring some people in and out, and that's going to mess with the timing.
Cockrell looking to throw, going to the sideline. Incomplete pass there intended for Derek Weiskopf, the D1 recruit going to Iowa next year.
Yeah, I believe that was Upaw, I believe, on the pressure there. Does that sound about right?
Could be, yep. Nick Upaw
or
getting into...
No, that was Weiss. My
so
apologies.
Daniel Weiss, number 9.
He's out on the edge on the far side there.
So another thing to kind of point out, Daniel Weiss, the starting quarterback tonight, of course, but Emerson Bridgewater has been the backup quarterback. Here's a run by Niall Sin, and he gets down to the 40, so a strong run there up the middle.
And White was on that tackle.
And so Emerson Bridgewater comes up with an injury to his throwing hand last week at CPU. He's played on defense during the... Here's Cockrell rolling to the right, looking downfield. And long and out of bounds.
Yeah, the target was, Heitman again.
Heitman, yep, on the far sideline there. And so the backup quarterback for the Trojans, as I've tried to get this out 2 different times here, the backup quarterback tonight, Nick Upaw, Emerson Bridgewater, unable to throw with that cast on his throwing hand. And so Nick Upaw will be kind of slated in as South Tama's backup QB. Here's 4th down now. Cockrell's just going to go for it. Airing it out down the field. Long and incomplete, looking for Steckley. Or excuse me, that was Braylon Wetjen.
Yep. Yeah, and of course I noticed that Emerson, he was playing the majority of the snaps in the JV game as a linebacker. So still, the kid's just hungry to play, and that's really nice to see, especially, hopefully get him healthy
despite
for next
the injury,
year. Yeah.
All right, so turnover on downs here for the Raiders as they're just kind of fiddling with the passing game here a little bit. They go for 1 run, and that breaks it away pretty easily, but they're going to kind of work on their passing game, I think, here. Up big in the first quarter, and that will turn over the ball on downs. South Tama gets a start on the 41-yard line here.
And I'm starting to see a little smaller guys on the front line there for Williamsburg.
Hand off to Blocker, and he's met at the line of scrimmage.
No gain or loss on the play. So
tackle by number 3, Cale Moore. And you kind of, I don't know how the the rest of this game's going to unfold here. But I've seen good sportsmanship.
Yeah, absolutely.
On both sides. I think having some of those early touchdowns from the punt game just kind of takes the air out of things. You're not even really kind of competing at that point after you let those go through, and so hopefully that kind of keeps the atmosphere congenial.
Yep, and then that's Trenton Davies with that tackle for the loss. Handed off by Blocker.
Blocker again, the ball carrier, and that will bring up 3rd down and long, 3rd and 14.
I almost bet we're going to let the time wind down and let the end of the first quarter.
So we're going to flip the field, and we will be back in a moment once we get the horn to go off here.
Yep, 7 seconds. So we'll just... South Tama's going to need to talk about a few things. I, of course, expect Williamsburg to bring up their 2nd and 3rd string. All right.
End of the first quarter. We'll be back after this with the start of the 2nd quarter. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for being with us on Trojan Country. Welcome back live from Bob Murphy Stadium in Williamsburg, Iowa. It is the start of the 2nd quarter. The Raiders up big here after a huge first quarter, 34-0 against South Tama.
Yeah, so far it's been Heitman able to get 4 of those touchdowns, both on special teams and defensively. So definitely a very strong Williamsburg, kind of showing why they're #1 ranked in 3A.
So we flip the field. South Tama on offense, just outside the 40-yard line. It's going to be a handoff to Cody Blocker, trying to get to the outside. Gets tripped up in the backfield, and that'll be a loss on the play, losing a yard there. And that brings up another 4th down, so the punt unit coming back on again. The Valle and the punt team have been busy this evening as the Trojans have just not been able to get any penetration through this Williamsburg defense.
Right, and they're quick. They got good vision. They're able to contain, of course, blocker on those edges, which is kind of our hand, spade in the hand. So just very good play so far by Williamsburg.
There's Valle's punt, high along the far sidelines. It goes out of bounds, just beyond the 50, I believe.
Yeah, so if there's one thing, I believe Valle's been improving his distance, just a little, ever so slightly, I think.
Oh, good. Okay, this went out way further than the.
Oh.
So not beyond the 50. Yeah, it was hard to see because it was so high there. But
I didn't even notice that, and it looked really good to me.
It did look good, but it went a little too far west there. And so so the Raiders will start 1st and 10 on the 40 after a short and high punt goes out of bounds from Valle. Cockrell still in at quarterback. Niall Sin, the starting running back.
Going to be a handoff?
Right up the middle. Cutting to the outside, getting past one tackler. Cutting back in, almost makes it to the end zone, but finally gets pushed out of bounds.
And that was Weiss on the pressure.
Yeah, Weiss on the out-of-bounds shove there.
Yeah, he was very slippery coming out towards the edge there, and just the explosiveness.
Yeah.
As soon as he got handed that ball, wow.
So now 1st and 10 on the 15. Just like that, the Raiders into the Trojans' red zone. Another handoff to Sin right up the middle. And he's in past the 5-yard line.
Of course, it's got to be tiring for our guys up front, of course, playing against that Williamsburg D-line and this whole entire time. And now we kind of get to see a little bit of the fresher bodies on the O-line.
Right.
And just, it's an unfortunate mismatch.
1st and goal on the 4. Cockrell looking wide. And it's incomplete.
And look at that. Two members of South Tama able to help him up. So a good sportsmanship from South Tama.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Trojans helping up Raiders and Raiders helping up Trojans, and you know it's kind of gone both ways. That's good to see.
Yeah.
And both teams kind of want to get out of this one without any huge sustained injuries.
Yeah, absolutely.
2nd and goal on the 4 for Cockrell and the Raiders. A different running back in the nope, it's Sin again, and he's going to take
but he's tackled by Robles.
Robles gets the lasso around the ankles and brings him down just inside the 5. Good tackle there by Robles, kind of held strong and put him on the ground.
Yeah, that was an excellent play. Of course, he split the offensive lineman, and of course that was a run up right on that defensive nose tackle right where Robles was. Good heads-up play. Notice that the runner had the ball, wrapped him up, straight down.
All right, here is 3rd down. Cockrell looking to throw.
And with that, just a toe tap in there for Wetjen.
Braylon Wetjen, the reception. And another touchdown pushes the score to 40.
And, of course, that's going to pad the statistics just a little bit. Of course, that's kind of why we see here, of course, Cockrell and Wetjen, one of the top scoring leaders in 3A, as we kind of talked about in that scouting report.
Yeah.
Continuing to show that again tonight, why they're the top leaders in passing touchdowns and passing receptions.
Rethwich and a whistle on the PAT.
I believe, was that a blocked punt? Or a blocked kick?
It was, the whistle came before the kick came out.
Huh.
So it's just going to be whistled no good, but I thought I heard a penalty whistle coming out there either way.
I don't believe so. I don't. And the snap looked good, but I was looking down, recording my stats, so I didn't get a perfect eye on the play.
So a missed PAT will keep the score at 40-0. And this game's going to take off once we get to halftime as the continuous clock, assuming South Tama can't kind of respond here. And we've seen really nothing to the contrary there. That I haven't seen anything productive from this offense yet. Some tough running by Blocker and company, but he hasn't been able to find any openings, and he's an undersized back to begin with, so it's not like he's kind of a bruising, fullback type that can create his own space in the middle.
Exactly. I mean, it boils down to his agility and his speed as an edge runner. So, again, stuff that he's going to need to learn for, of course, his vision's going to get way better.
Kickoff bounces near the 25, and it gets downed almost immediately there.
It's going to be Jeanette on the fall on to the ball, so it's going to stay South Tama's side. But that was kind of a little high squib kick from Rethwich, so I don't know if he's trying different kicks since the score is 40-0. So Williamsburg is going to take some time to experiment tonight, and that's kind of what we've been seeing with some of these plays.
So here's Weiss and the Trojans again on offense. Have had no first downs tonight. And it shouldn't go without saying here, South Tama facing one of the best teams in the state of Iowa tonight in Williamsburg. They were a state runner-up last year and come in top-ranked and undefeated against a couple of ranked opponents.
And flag on the field. It's going to be a false start on South Tama. So that's going to cost them some yardage. So a 5-yard penalty.
Trojans go back to the 18-yard line now. And they will repeat first down. It was a dead ball.
But at that point, there was a good hole opened up for Blocker, and Robles was leading that charge. He was getting quick there in that opening. He was already in the secondary once the flag was flown. So good job on Robles leading that block. Just unfortunate negative yards.
1st and 15.
It's going to be Weiss on the QB keep for no gain.
And that'll bring up 2nd down after the replayed first down. Weisskopf on the tackle for Williamsburg.
I don't know what position Iowa is going to be training Weisskopf for, but I assume it's going to be defensive in nature. Just based on his size and his height and his agility, I would almost see him, grow into sort of kind of like a linebacker position.
Yeah. 2nd and 15 now for Weiss and the Trojans. Blocker in the backfield. Weiss, quick pass to Dolash, and he's met just after the catch.
Yeah, but Weiss Dolash was able to shed that blocker though. That initial blocker tackler.
I think Bryson Wetgin was part of that coverage there, and
so good quick passes. Again, that's something that South Tama has been able to do. On offense, at least, we have Blocker run out to the edge, and we have that quick short passes to Jeanette on the flat and Dolash on sort of kind of like curl and kind of like half go routes, slants. So
40-0 here. South Tama just trying to find some positives. Deep down the sideline, there on the fast camera movement.
Yep, Dolash was on a absolute go route, aired it out, had double coverage, and just couldn't make a play on the ball.
And that'll set up 4th down now for the Trojans.
Some substitution going on the side of Williamsburg. I know 35 came in. He's a little bit shorter guy. So definitely some experience for the younger members of Williamsburg. Valle back to kick. It was a clean snap, and that's going to air out.
Ball rolls past the 50 and gets down at the 46-yard line in Williamsburg territory. So Williamsburg, I think, starting in their own territory for the first time tonight.
South Tama got the ball. I'm pretty sure it bumped a shoe of the returner.
All right.
Of Williamsburg. That was a very interesting play as it sort of kind of went out. It was the ball didn't have a positive or negative bounce for South Tama, and the returner for Williamsburg like half kicked the ball or something like that. So maybe he just wasn't trying to scoop it up.
Yeah.
And South Tama was able to get that ball. I didn't quite see who was able to fall on it, but it's South Tama's ball in Williamsburg territory.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, Trojans get their biggest gain of the year off of a punt that was kind of mishandled by the return unit of Williamsburg, and that will set them up for the first time into Williamsburg territory right on the 45-yard line. And that's why we're seeing South Tama's offense stay on the field here. Weiss in the shotgun. Cody Blocker right behind. That's Jeremy Dolash, the near receiver.
Weiss to throw.
Weiss looking for Dolash down the field.
And he gets the target, sheds a blocker, sheds another one, and with that, a huge gain for South Tama. Sorry, Darvin.
No, Dolash all the way down to the 5-yard line. Biggest play of the game so far for South Tama's offense, as the kind of chemistry connection there between Weiss and Dolash puts the ball down the field, and the Trojans for the first time into Williamsburg red zone territory.
Yeah, definitely the biggest positive play we've seen all night. And that was in double coverage, too, going on that slant route. And like you kind of mentioned, Darvin, just that connection that Weiss and Dolash have it's very special here at South Tama.
All right, here is 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Weiss looking to throw. Pressure coming from two different defenders, but it's going to be a touchdown. South Tama gets one in the end zone. I think that was Kinzer Jeanette on the reception.
I was looking. I can't see if that's a 14 or a 0.
It was Jeanette, yeah.
Yeah, Jeanette. So wonderful play there. Able to get some points on the board. Good job, South Tama.
And so the Trojans score their first touchdown from a throw from Weiss to Kinzer Jeanette. Oh my goodness, we've got the Independence barn door formation here.
I saw them do this in JV. It was very interesting to see how this sort of kind of plays out.
And so,
they're going to keep it. Pass out and incomplete.
Intended for Jeanette again, and it goes incomplete.
So the 2-point conversion doesn't work out, which is unfortunate, but I do love the trickery play. That's going to be a good practice, especially in those very tight situations that South Tama will find themselves eventually going on down the line.
So the touchdown drive there by Daniel Weiss. South Tama kind of gets set up in Williamsburg territory after a bobbled punt from Williamsburg. Gets turned over, so it grazed a Williamsburg punt returner. South Tama kind of flew in and grabbed the ball. That kept their position and kept the drive going into Williamsburg territory. We saw a big catch and a run there by Jeremy Dolash down the field, taking it into near the South Tama or the Williamsburg 5-yard line, and then Kinzer Jeanette kind of capping off the drive with a touchdown catch.
Yeah, that was an excellent play, just how Weiss was able to do his stereotypical rollout to the right, able to connect with Jeanette there on the touchdown pass. So awesome job from our boys in blue, able to get some points on the board, which huge for a night like tonight.
Returner, can you get that number there, Hunter? I'm not able to kind of see his number. I think that's maybe Steckley, but
I would assume since he's received, he's got his hands blocked over his 18.
That will be Steckley. So Steckley, the returner for Williamsburg on this kickoff. And South Tama taking their time to talk things over. Adrian Valle to kick.
I don't know if we would do an onside kick here. I wouldn't be opposed to it just because of the score. And you got to be feeling good after that quick succession of plays there, the last 2 plays that South Tama had.
4:32 left in the second quarter. Reminder, we're going to have an interview with Caden Tim, South Tama senior, at the Salt Creek Wind halftime show.
Good boot aired out by Valle. And Stickley's going to return it to the near side.
Steckley shedding tacklers, finally gets tripped up near the 30. That was
Miguel Medina.
Medina, and we got 62, I think, on that one. So that'd be Wyatt Silhonic getting in on the action there.
Yeah,
Silhonic
he was
starting at that
first
defensive tackle position, so getting a little action on special teams as well.
But there is a flag on the play. Holding
against against Williamsburg.
Yep.
So some penalties have kind of tripped up Williamsburg, and you know, kind of the metaphor I think about is just sort of a high torque engine trying to run on ice here a little bit, as as Williamsburg has not really been able to get any kind of rhythm. They've been the beneficiary of a lot of South Tama mistakes, and here's a big run by Niall Sin, and he is going to break away all the way down the field, and he's going to take it in for a touchdown. So Niall Sin flips the field and quickly scores. So we've seen a few mistakes here and there from Williamsburg, some penalties that have pushed them back. But it's just they've had a hard time kind of finding their footing, finding a rhythm to get all of their weapons working at the same time when they've had to kind of flip the field so much, go into their punt return unit so much.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not crying for these guys. They're just fine.
But I mean, they're going to be practicing some things. They're going to take some new up-and-comers in, trade them out with sort of kind of what is used to on the practice field. And that's going to create some timing issues. That's going to create some differences. But for the majority of the time, it's been working tonight.
The PAT is good from Rethwich, and that will make the score 47-6. South Tama getting its touchdown a few minutes ago on a touchdown catch from Kinzer Jeanette.
But yes, Sin did an absolutely great job, of course, as the running back for Williamsburg, able to find that hole, cut up field, find the edge, and then just beat everyone out. Because I know the South Tama safety just didn't have enough space on him. He was, of course, running in. Of course, didn't have quite the speed. So Sin was able to get out off to the foot races.
And so now Rethwich to kick. Blocker and Jeanette, the returners. Jeanette on the near side. Blocker, the returner, to the far side. I believe we are into I heard the PA announcer kind of tell us that we're back into continuous clock, so I think we're going to have this second quarter in continuous clock format.
It's going to bobble. Jeanette's going to take that and run.
Trouble there for Jeanette. He picks it up at the 25 and gets down finally after a short return.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just sort of kind of like a half kick that Rithwich is doing right now. It's not deep back into the end zone or where our receivers are, but it's not towards that second line either. Mm-hmm. So it's very well placed for Rethwich.
Get this back here, 40. All right, so
yes,
it'll be
47-6.
47-6. South Tama on a 1st and 10 now, back on offense.
Blocker in the backfield, Dolash on your near side.
Weiss getting pressure, tosses it away. Pressure coming there from Micah Lang. I think we've only seen one sack here in this first half.
Yeah, and that
Weiss has gotten rid of it pretty quick.
Yeah, so, and that was by Gower, the tackle. Or
I didn't
the
catch
sack?
the tackle.
Oh, gotcha.
Early in the game.
Yeah, early in the game. Sorry,
no problem.
But
so 2nd and 10 now.
But a good heads-up play by Weiss, able to at least acknowledge that pressure on the blind side, get the ball out.
Here's second down now. Trojans get stopped up just near the line of scrimmage.
It's going to be blocker on the carry. So still 2 minutes, 19 seconds winding down for South Tama. The good thing about a continuous clock is that there's not going to be as much opportunity for one of our guys or their guys to get injured tonight. And
Right.
Should be a quick, simple,
Wrap up to this
wrap
thing.
up.
Well, South Tama does able to, get themselves into the end zone, and so that could kind of change things a little bit, but we'll see how they do here on third down.
Going to give it to blocker.
To blocker. Blocker finds a lane but gets tripped up. I would have liked him to see just cut straight in and go north on that one.
Yeah, that's just one of those vision things that he'll learn as the course of the season goes on. He did do a good job at sort of kind of snaking around some of those edge defenders from Williamsburg, but ultimately was taken down as just everyone from Williamsburg is just rushing towards that ball.
Fourth down now and 10. There was no gain on that run. And Valle again will be back to punt. Two returners, Wetjen and Steckley, I believe, back to receive the punt from Valle.
Ooh, and that was touched.
And the punt falls short, but it's picked up.
But that was Heitman again on the return.
So
Williamsburg.
And Heitman wasn't set up as a returner in that case. He was just on the normal punt return crew. They had Steckley and Wetjen back, but it gets tipped. I don't know who got the hand in there. He was kind of buried on the far side of the line there, but
yeah,
the tip up into the air gets the ball back into Williamsburg hands in short territory. The return by Heitman almost broke away for another touchdown. Cockrell throwing to the sideline, picked up, and an open field tackle there.
Blocker's going to be on the initial contact there, and then quickly finished by, I believe Jeanette was there as well.
Cockrell, quick snaps, rolling right.
Heitman.
And Heitman will finish off the drive after the punt goes sideways on South Tama. Heitman scores again, 53-6.
Man, Heitman is doing a lot of legwork today, even when it's not drawn up and when it is drawn up. So get that return on the ball there, able to run it, I want to say about 25 yards, 30 yards, and then gets the touchdown pass. And that ball is going to go through the upright.
Rethwich puts another PAT through, and that makes it 54-6. All Williamsburg here.
Absolutely. And that's going to be end of the first half. So Williamsburg 54, South Tama 6. So continuous clock definitely going to be in play here today. So in a moment, I believe we're going to have an interview.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to set up Cade and Tim here for our Salt Creek Win halftime interview, and we'll be back with that in a moment. Stick with us. Thanks for being with us, and we'll be back shortly.
Take an airplane or a southbound train. It don't matter, 'cause to me I'm gonna do something for once and make some sense. And grass is greener around the other side. And in this I am surely bona fide. Well, I can feel the sun shining down on my face, and I can see the colors down all over the place. My life to this point has been somewhat tragic. I tell you folks, I could use some new magic. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh. I can feel the sun shining down on my face, and I can see the colors down all over the place. My life to this point has been static. I tell you folks, I could use some new magic. Whoa, whoa, got that magic. Whoa, whoa, got that magic. Oh, oh, magic. Oh, oh, magic. I can feel the sun shining down on my face, and I can see the colors down all over the place. My life to this point has been noise and static. I tell you folks, I could use some new magic, and I can feel the sun shining.
It is the Salt Creek Wind halftime show. I'm joined by one of South Tama's fantastic seniors, Caden Tim. It's great to have you in the booth here tonight. Just some initial thoughts. A tough game here for the Trojans. You're here with the student section. Just some thoughts about this first half for the Trojans.
Oh yeah, it's a really tough team. They have a lot of depth, and they're really big strength, and they're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the best teams I think we
Yeah.
play in the season.
Absolutely. They've coming off of a state championship game last year, and they're kind of giving South Tama all they can kind of handle here on their homecoming night. You've been really active with the student sections at South Tama this year. I've seen you at a ton of football games and volleyball games, kind of been in front of the student section and getting them kind of hyped up. What has kind of got you interested in doing that? What's fun about that, and how has that been for you this year?
It's been really good. It's really fun. I like supporting my friends, and
Yeah.
it gets them going. Like volleyball, like the Williamsburg game where we beat them in 5. That was a really fun student section, and even
Yeah.
CCA where we got swept. They're one of the best teams in the state, and we played them really well. One of the best teams that they
Yeah,
played.
absolutely. Yeah, they're top ranked over in Class 4A, I believe. And maybe what's a favorite dress up night, or because each student section kind of comes with a theme. First of all, do you have a theme here for? We haven't gotten a close shot of the student section here at Williamsburg. Is there a theme tonight for the group?
Not really. There was only a few of us that came
Okay.
today. There's
All
only
right.
like 5 or 6 of us over
All
there,
right. But what's a favorite theme night that you've kind of been a part of, or one that you've gotten to do a couple times?
I would probably say just whiteout or blackout,
Yeah.
and I like pink out too.
Yep.
Just like the basic ones. I feel like everyone can do those. Not everyone has like Hawaiian or construction stuff lying around.
True,
so
true.
Everyone usually dresses up for the base color outs.
And the whiteout's got the fun little powder toss in the beginning of the
Yeah.
game. That's been pretty cool to see too. We have homecoming coming up next week. You're involved as a member of the homecoming court, and kind of want to use that opportunity to just share with the South Tama community some things that are going on for homecoming. So if you can kind of, whatever you want to start with, just kind of run down what's coming up next week at homecoming.
Okay, so we don't have school Monday, so
Nice.
we have dress-up days for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Tuesday is your dress as your favorite activity, so what sport you like and
Nice.
whatever you're involved in. Wednesday is anything but a backpack, so people can bring anything to school, basically.
Right on. Okay.
Thursday is dress as your hero,
Okay.
and Friday's just Spirit Day. And Tuesday we have the girls volleyball game at home versus
Right.
Vinton.
That'll be pink out night,
and that's
right?
pink out, yeah. And I think we have a good shot at that one too.
Yeah, absolutely. Vinton-Shellsburg's been kind of right in that lower tier of the WAMAC conference, and they took it was Grinnell took them to 5 sets, I believe, earlier in the season. So it'll be interesting to see, and should be a great crowd. It's been really fun watching those girls this year.
Thursday we have the parade at 6 o'clock, and there was going to be a homecoming court, and the boys is Tommy Tynisma.
Okay, yeah. Tell us who those kids are.
Okay, Tommy Tynisma, James Brandt, Amari Chavez, Mikhail Bear, Daniel Weiss, and me, Caden Tim. And the girls is Kaylin Murdy, Takaya Rosenberger, Gloria Mullen, Mary Kate Frakes, Kayla Heck, and Natalie Meek.
Awesome. So you guys get to be a part of the parade. Are there any other activities or things that you're doing as a group as a homecoming court?
We're going TPing one of the nights. I think we're going Wednesday. We're going out to eat.
Fair enough. So look
that,
out, South Tama community. The HOCO kids will be out in force.
Yeah, it's a really good group of people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Tell us about some of your family. Who you got at home? Who kind of supports you at home? Introduce those folks to us, and we'll kind of go from there.
My parents are Todd and Amanda Tim. I have a couple sisters. One's a sophomore, Sage, and one's 5, and it's Mila. She's in kindergarten.
So you're the oldest. What's it like as the older brother to those 2 sisters? What's that been like for you?
It's hard. Just try to be role model, try to get out and do everything.
Yeah. And some hobbies. What have when you're not busy with activities, and you got a lot of sports in the winter and spring, but when you're not doing schoolwork, and what are other interests for you outside of school?
I really like hanging out with friends. I'm always out doing something with people.
Nice.
And we have a lot of different people I like being friends with and hanging out with. So it's good to get everyone involved in stuff and hanging out with a bunch of different people.
You bet. Thinking through your next few activities, what are you going to be busy with? I know you've been part of the tennis team for a long time, been part of the basketball team. What are your kind of plans after this fall semester?
In winter, I'm going to do basketball.
Yep.
And then spring, tennis. And then in summer, I'm going to do baseball this year, my first year.
So what are you looking at? How long has it been since you played baseball? Let's go there first.
Oh, gosh. Probably 6th grade, probably.
The hottest minute. Yeah. Okay. What position are you kind of excited to try out or just get involved with this year?
Probably outfield. Something more simpler.
Gotcha.
Because I haven't played in a long time, but I'm excited to.
And you've got a new coach on the basketball team this year, Coach Harrison. He's been a teacher now for, I believe, a year, just over a year.
Yep.
Have you gotten to know him a little bit, or what do you know about him as a new coach coming into the system?
Yeah, he's really nice. He's my government teacher. He's funny. He's good to talk to.
Nice.
Yeah, I think he'll be really fun to work with during the season.
Tell us a little bit your plans after high school. What are you looking forward to? I know that might feel like a long ways away this spring, but as juniors and seniors, you're thinking about that a lot, I'm sure. What is that for you right now?
I want to go to a college, and I want to be a teacher. I want to be a social studies teacher for high school, and I want to play tennis at the college level.
Nice. You've been a member of the tennis team for a long time. What are some of your favorite memories with that tennis group? Anything that stands out, or goals for this season as you go into your spring tennis time?
Definitely last season and my freshman year, we had a lot of people out. I think we had 13 or 14, and we had a lot of different people out. It was really fun. But last year, me and Austin and Owen Becker made state double alternate. We got 3rd at districts, and my goal for this year is to make state. I want to try to make state, and it's good this year because we have Grinnell, Independence, and Marion, and Waverly and Decorah. They're not in their conference anymore for tennis.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
And they were really tough competitions.
Grinnell coming in from that into the WAMAC for the first year. That'll be interesting to see how that plays into your schedule. Last question here for you. You've been now a senior with South Tama. You've had a lot of time, a lot of experience as a South Tama Trojan. Any favorite memories or just warm thoughts about your time as a student at South Tama, or things that kind of stick out to you as you kind of reflect on your high school career or your student career before that?
Definitely just being involved with friends and going to football games and basketball and volleyball and all this stuff. Going outside of school, even TPing, homecoming week, prom. Those are really, really fun activities that I enjoyed.
And I want to give you one opportunity to kind of encourage our student body to kind of get out and participate with you and a lot of the kids in the student section. What's fun about being a part of that group, coming out to away games or even home games? What's the most rewarding and enjoyable part about that?
It makes you feel really good when you're cheering, and like volleyball is probably the best example because we're right there.
Yeah.
Like over here, we're kind of far away, and
Right,
it's kind of hard. But volleyball, it shows into their playing, like how much we affect how much like confidence we give them.
Each rally, each volley, you kind of get to breathe some life into the game a little bit. So, and we'll have plenty of opportunities. A busy Saturday coming up tomorrow. The Trojans at home for several matches there. On Tuesday, the Pink Out night. So get out and support the Trojans. So thank you so much, Caden. I really appreciate the time. It's great to talk to you. I have to just say, do you remember about 5-7 years ago, you and I had an interview when you were in Blue Pride basketball many moons ago during a basketball game, and here we are full circle. You're a senior, and I'm glad to have you back.
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
That was
actually.
great. We've got a picture. We'll throw that up on social media later.
Okay.
And it's great to have you. So thanks a lot, Caden.
Thank you so much. Go Trojans.
All right.
Sometimes I wanna know if everything is real. It could all be in my head. It's the thing that makes you feel. It's harder when you breathe. Nowhere inside your lungs. I search for inner peace. Back to where I was. Now I think I need someone to get me through the night. Because my inner peace is interrupted by the light. It's harder when you breathe. Nowhere inside your lungs. I search for inner peace. Back to where I was. Exercise all the demons out of myself. Toss and turn in a bed that's bad for my health. Waking up from a dream that feels so surreal. Hallucination.
Welcome back into the Salt Creek Win halftime show here on Trojan Country. I just had a wonderful interview with Caden Tim. He's one of the homecoming court members and a STC senior. Really appreciate his willingness to kind of come on short notice and be a part of things over here in Williamsburg. And we're getting ready to start the third quarter here in a moment. Some thoughts from you, Hunter, as we get ready to get going in the third.
Yeah, absolutely. For the side of South Tama, it's going to be just still play what you know. You were able to get that touchdown connection between Weiss and Jeanette there for a 12-yard touchdown. So looking forward to the second half. Of course, we're going to see this continuous clock continues. So I'm just hoping that South Tama and Williamsburg doesn't get injured. We can learn a lot. I know Williamsburg has been experimenting with some substitution and different plays. And South Tama, of course, we're playing what we know. We're given the ball to blocker. He's going to run up the edge and run out to the inside of the line. And, of course, those quick throws to Jeanette and Dolash. So looking forward to hopefully a better second half, but, of course, continuous clock in the play, and injury is always going to be an
Yeah, it's going to be South Tama maybe getting a look at some second and third string units after Williamsburg has had some time to get their starters some stats. The start of this game really got off to a weird start with some punts
Yes,
that
it
went sideways and were returned for quick touchdowns within the first couple of minutes. Williamsburg was able to put like 3 touchdowns on the board and without even putting their offense on the field. And so things got off to just a really strange start. And we'll see if South Tama can kind of settle in. They've had some halftime to kind of catch their breath a little bit. And will be interesting to see how things shake out here in the third.
Absolutely. We, as I'm looking back here at some of these drive stats, Heitman makes up for 5 touchdowns,
Wow.
whether on special teams, defense, or, of course, the last touchdown was Cockrell to Heitman for a 15-yard touchdown pass.
So, yeah, look for him in the Player of the Week standings around the state of Iowa. I have to imagine he's going to have one of the standout offensive performances with the yards that he's kind of put together. And it'll be interesting because a lot of that came on special teams, but the touchdowns come nonetheless. And, yeah, it will be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when it comes penalty-wise, both sides have, of course, I didn't have time to get the quick tally, but I do know the Raiders sort of kind of have the edge, either give or take 10, 15 yards of penalties. Of course, they've had a lot of holding, false starts, illegal formations. South Tama, conversely, has had, I believe, a lot of holding, and I believe a false start somewhere in between there. So not anything egregious necessarily. Like there's been no unsportsmanlike conduct, no blocking in the back, no late hits. So very clean in retrospect, or relatively speaking. And of course, I've seen both Williamsburg players help up South Tama players, South Tama helping up Williamsburg.
Yeah, the sportsmanship's been there tonight, and that's good to see given the mismatch. It will be Williamsburg to receive the kick starting in the third quarter as we get things kind of gathered back up and ready to go again.
I do also want to make a note of the stat, too. I believe, so far today for first downs, as they are concerned, South Tama has 2, and Williamsburg technically has 0, as every drive kind of right out the gate has scored a touchdown.
Yeah, interesting situation for the Trojans with some special teams troubles. And here we go in the third. It'll be Adrian Valle to kick off. Receiving for the Raiders, we've got number 5. So we've got Anthony Fenton. He's a senior getting his first look at a return unit. And number 19 is the other returner, Kyler Proven. So I think maybe a full second unit starting the second half here for Coach Ritchie and the Raiders, which is good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what we expect to, get the younger guys some experience at the varsity level with a 54-6 lead going into the third quarter continuous clock. They want to keep their starters healthy, of course, going on into the season where they eventually want to go back to that finals game like they did last year at the Unidome.
And here's the kick by Valle.
And still running up to the edge, and he's going to shed a blocker, 2 of them, but eventually taken down at the 39-yard line.
Return there by Grady Wetjen, number 24. So the short kick gets picked up by the kind of second tier of the return team. And Wetjen will be the returner, bringing it all the way out near the 40-yard line.
And Josh Stahl with the tackle on that one.
So the O-lineman getting out and getting dirty here on special teams.
Absolutely.
Williamsburg starting things off just inside the 40-yard line in their own territory. Let's see. We got a new quarterback in there as well. It's Bryson Wetjen.
It's going to be fumbled, and you and I did it again. I did it again.
Think in Northern Iowa here.
Oh, man. I know. I was talking about the Unidome, too, and I was kind of reminiscing.
So it's going to be South Tama on the, well, hold on here.
I guess.
So it does gets recovered. So it comes out. South Tama kind of made a scramble for it, but it will stay with Williamsburg. Lucky draw there here. And quarterback for the Raiders is number 10, Bryson Wetjen. So we've got Braylon, Bryson, and Grady are the 3 Wetjens I've got here on the roster. We saw Grady on the return and quarterback Bryson on the second string. Third down now for the Raiders. Another close finish for the Frosh team earlier tonight. They get another win. They get a win against Williamsburg's Frosh.
Yeah. the JV team is really looking bright for this future of this varsity team. Of course, with Upaw now at quarterback, he was able to sling the ball little ways down the field. And, of course, just defensively, South Tama has done an excellent job just forcing those blocks in the back, or forcing those tackles for a loss and those sacks. So really looking bright for this JV team.
Incomplete pass here by Wetjen will force a 4th down, and so a punt unit comes out for the first time tonight. It'll be Weiskopf, the punter. Really haven't seen much of Weiskopf at all tonight. He's not factored in much as the pass game has kind of went through the smaller wideouts.
That's a good punt back.
Goodness gracious. It's going to get a South Tama bounce. That was Niall Sin coming flying in from the 50-yard line to kind of save it as it bounced back towards Williamsburg. And Weiskopf's punt will start the Trojans on the 29-yard line in Trojan territory.
Yeah, and one of the things that I noticed during my scouting on Weiskopf is that Coach Ritchie says that he'll play any position and you can put him anywhere that there's a deficiency on any side of the ball.
Yeah.
You stick Weiskopf in there and you're good.
54-6 the score. South Tama kind of working against the second unit here.
Weiss is going to call an audible there on the play, or some kind of vision.
Weiss now under center. It's going to be a carry and stop in the backfield for a loss. Blocker the ball carrier. Setting up 2nd down and 14 now after a four-yard loss. Miller and Greer on the stop for Williamsburg. Reminder, we have homecoming week coming up this week in South Tama community. The parade going to be run through the downtown Tama area. It's going to be the same route as the Lincoln Highway Parade gets run in May each year. So they'll come down by the library and turn onto 3rd Street and go east there for a little ways. So make sure to come out and be a part of the homecoming parade coming up next week, Thursday night. I believe start time is 6 p.m. One thing that's different this year to last year and several previous years is that the coronation will not be held as it's a separate ceremony on Thursday night after the parade. The coronation will happen on Friday night between the Frosh and the varsity game. So the coronation will happen on the field during the football game. And
that's very exciting. Something to look forward to.
We'll keep the kind of add some activity to the football game experience. Weiss scrambling to the sideline. Finally gets run out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a good heads-up play by Weiss there. Able to get out of the pocket, roll over to the left side, realized that there was nobody really downfield, and he just tucked that ball and ran with it and was able to get some positive yards.
4th down still after a solid run there by Weiss. Captures back several yards, but it will again be a punt situation for South Tama as they're so far deep in their own territory. It wouldn't really be benefiting to... Oh, so no, are they going to go for it here?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you might as well...
Okay, so they are going for it.
Unless they're going to try and jump like they did the last time.
Tried to see maybe so.
Yeah.
Coach Bridgewater wanted to see if they could get him drawn off sides, and they call a timeout. So.
Yeah, so I would expect them, like you mentioned, Darvin, for them to punt this one. Valle's been having a good night, of course. Those long snaps have been kind of right where you need it tonight.
We haven't seen the same kind of communication or the snapping hasn't been the problem tonight. That Williamsburg has just ran those punts back multiple times into the end zone. So
and at that point, the question then lies on the edge protection for South Tama. of course, we're able to get that kick downfield. And at that point now, it's like, okay, well, we got the one part of kicking it. Now we got to make sure that we get the returner down. So definitely things to work on for next week going into this.
And the Trojans kind of having to learn on their feet too here. Adrian Valle and several other Trojans in their first year, either first year in the program entirely or first year on the varsity squad. And so the learning curve is about as steep as it could be. Here's South Tama now on 4th down out of that timeout. Weiss in the shotgun, rolling out to the left.
Jeanette
gets the ball, and he's gonna, I think, just be short of that first down.
Yeah, or maybe they might give it to him.
The sticks are...
They were jostling around a little bit, and they're going to give it to him.
Okay, so first down might be the first non-penalty related first down that we've had.
Yes.
We had that bobbled punt that kind of... Well, no, we had the Dolash catch that brought the ball all the way down into the 5. So that would have been the first one.
Yeah.
Glad we got that cleared up.
Yes. So it was 1 first down, not 2. Got it. Okay. But here, able to make something off production-wise. This blocker gets the ball, sheds a tackler for 1 yard on the game or
Blocker
on the play.
To the outside there, you can see Kyan McBride kind of clearing out his defender into the backfield. Ball gets to the 41. 2nd down.
But that was a well-placed ball from Weiss there on sort of kind of that out route from Jeanette. So still able to do something on the pass play, which I know it's kind of early hindered them a little bit with those interceptions by Heitman, but still glad that they're letting Weiss throw the ball.
Jacob Youngbear back in at fullback. It's going to be a handoff to Blocker. Short gain on the carry, and that will bring up 3rd down and 6. 3rd down and, well,
5.
5 maybe.
Maybe give or take a yard. But definitely one of things that I want to go that I would like to see going in against Grinnell is, again, those spades that South Tama has in their back pocket with Blocker, Jeanette, and Dolash, and of course the mobility of Weiss. Looking to really hone that this week against a homecoming against Grinnell. And this time Jeanette's going to take the handoff and get the first down.
Kinzer Jeanette, the ball carrier, and that'll be another first down for South Tama. So a different look here as South Tama able to get some first downs against a second unit for Williamsburg.
Yeah.
And they move the ball down just inside the 45.
That's another thing that I noticed, Darvin, is that they're not playing that score formation that they've at least shown a handful of times. So
yeah, they've kind of kept it more to the outside. And different look here. So, but two first down conversions here, nearing the 50-yard line.
Again, Weiss and shotgun. He's going to pitch out to Jeanette. He's going to cut up field.
And he gets stopped just inside the line of scrimmage.
So, yeah, different looks. They're trying different things. And I've seen that, there's been several positions or formations that I've seen South Tama do tonight. Just maybe they're trying something a little different. Of course, now we got Jeanette in the backfield, which is different. We haven't seen that look. I don't believe all
he's
year.
Been at that tight end. He's been at that tight end position the last couple of weeks. Sort of was the, well, no, he was kind of a third running back almost with Bridgewater in the first 2 weeks. Blocker kind of the change of pace back. Here's 2nd down now for Weiss and the Trojans. Weiss rolling out, looking down the field, heaves it to the sideline, and it goes incomplete.
I believe that was
Blocker, I think, the intended receiver there.
Yeah, Blocker on the intended receiver. Thomas Donahoe on the pressure for Williamsburg.
3rd down and 9 for South Tama, trying to push it into Williamsburg territory. And of course, so just a couple of drives here in this third quarter, and we're already down to 1:32 left in the third.
Yeah, this continuous clock is going by very quickly.
One might say continuously.
Oh, one could.
But one won't.
Yeah. And deep shot from Weiss.
Weiss. Oh, goodness.
It was right in the hands of, I believe, who is that? Jeanette Dolash?
No, that was Dolash on the far side there. Double coverage there, too, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was a well-placed ball for the situation that was given. That linebacker for Williamsburg was right on the tail of Dolash, and of course you got to throw it back over to the other end of the shoulder, right in the bread basket. Just couldn't quite heave it in for the completion.
37 seconds left on the clock. Trojans will go for it here on fourth down. They've already had one
Might as well.
fourth down conversion.
Dolash on the near side.
Quick pitch out to the middle. It's going to be Jeanette, I believe, the receiver. Close to a first down.
That's going to be Heitman on the tackle.
Heitman the tackle. But that'll be another first down for South Tama. Kinzer Jeanette getting some work down here in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was, again, a really nice quick pass right in the center of the defenders. That's originally what we saw on that first drive, the second drive from South Tama. Just Heitman was able to read that pass a little bit better.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the fourth quarter live from Bob Murphy Stadium in Williamsburg. Thanks for being with us. Welcome back to the start of the fourth quarter, live from Bob Murphy Stadium here in Williamsburg. South Tama down big against the Raiders, the number one ranked Class 3A team across the state of Iowa in multiple polls. Returning state runner-up from the 2A state championship last year. We start the fourth quarter with South Tama just got a first down off of a reception by Kinzer Jeanette. I think this is... Let's see who this is. I don't think it's... Nope, that is 34. That is going to be Lane Feisel. Was that 34?
I would...
Or maybe 44. No, that wasn't Feisel. That was...
Let's say I don't
Graybill, maybe.
Graybill?
At any rate. Short gain there by the Trojans.
Yeah, but... Because I remember seeing the 4, so 44.
Yeah, we got a 44 out there, and my roster, it's listed as Lane Feisel.
Yeah, he's
going to line up as a... Yeah, so maybe that is Feisel. It could have been.
So nice to see the freshman getting a couple looks here against Williamsburg.
Blocker on the carry. Makes the third down a little more manageable with a couple of yards gained there.
I know it looks like we're going to be substituting some guys in too on this fourth quarter continuous clock. So there we go. There's that score formation.
Again, handoff to Cody Blocker, diving ahead, looking for the first down. I don't think it's going to be quite enough. 1 yard gain there, and that will bring up fourth down for the Trojans. They've gotten a couple of conversions here in the third quarter.
that's one of the bright things too. Like we saw Kinzer Jeanette, I believe, was it third or fourth down, and we decided to go for it, able to get that 11-yard quick pass out to Jeanette and pick up the first down, and that's what we've been playing off of here in this fourth quarter.
4th and 2 for the Trojans, trying to keep this drive alive. 2 backs in the backfield. They'll go right up the middle. They might have it. This is Faisal again, if my roster is to be believed. We were kind of not tricked last week, but we had some wrong numbers last week, so we're going to call it like we have it on the sheet, but I know we don't have a 44.
Yeah.
Do we have the program from the door, maybe? I think
Yep,
it's
I got it right
there.
down here.
So maybe check the Frosch lineup and see if there's a
34 is Carver Chichek.
Okay, so it is not Faisal. So Carver Chichok, and then so Graybill is 44, Chichok is 34.
Yeah, but we're making positive yards, so that third string of Williamsburg really being worn down right now from our players.
And that'll bring up second down and 9 for STC. Multiple 3rd and 4th down conversions have kept a very long and methodical drive alive for South Tama.
Absolutely. We've seen the different formations. We've seen that score formation, a lot of the ball being run up right up that ISO. So hopefully keep this drive going here. Pitch out.
Pitches out
This
to...
time. I didn't see who got up from the pile.
I think that was Chichok. That'll bring up 3rd down and 9. No gain on the carry. Eight minutes left to go in this 4th quarter.
Yeah, all the guys are basically getting experience, seeing how well played this Williamsburg team is. They'll go back, watch the video, understand kind of, with Weiss, understand where those interceptions came from. Of course, special teams looks a lot better than what they did against CPU. So just continuous improvement as we're going in for the rest of the season.
Pitch out to the sideline to... I didn't catch the number on that. So yeah, apologies for the number troubles here. We've got some numbers that weren't on our roster and some kids we hadn't seen yet before, so it's a little tricky to kind of get them all identified quite right. Fourth down again for South Tama. They've marched all the way down the field so far.
Absolutely. They've converted on 4th and 10 before.
Pass down the field to the corner, nobody home, and that will finally turn it over to the Raiders. After the Trojans' drive falls short near the 35-yard line.
Yeah, that was just a double-covered ball, and it was just a shot downfield, Hail Mary kind of approach to it. Just didn't quite get it because of the double coverage. But, so far so good for our guys in this 4th quarter. We were able to convert a couple first downs. So progress definitely being made.
First down here for the Raiders. First look in a little while as their offense has been on the shelf. Bryson Weegen, the quarterback for
I believe that was Jeanette on the pressure there in the back line. So came off that edge and kind of stepped with the running back there of Williamsburg, able to get that tackle for no gain.
Timeout called. We got an injured Raider getting stretched out.
Yeah, with the rains that have come to happen today, it's a little bit more sticky than what I would originally expect. But, of course, there was tornadoes today in Cedar Rapids and the Adkins area. So definitely the moisture, the cool weather, humidity is gonna play havoc on those muscles.
And reminder, we have South Tama volleyball coming your way tomorrow morning. It's going to be the STC Invitational Tournament live from the Roundhouse. We'll have coverage starting at 8:30. South Tama will kind of play in pool play, so it'll be one match they're on the court, the next match best of 3. So these matches take maybe 40 minutes roughly, give or take, and then they'll be back on the court again. We'll kind of keep our broadcast live throughout the day. Tournament expected to go into the early afternoon.
Yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. I know the girls have been playing hard. They've been playing well. Just unfortunate, ranked teams are, they're ranked for a reason.
Right.
So it's unfortunate the losses against AGWSR, who's 8th ranked in 1A, and of course Clear Creek and Mana. That was a tough fought match, but they were able to join an elite group, able to get 19 points on Clear Creek. So
I heard a lot of takeaways, players and coaches both kind of reflecting on that Clear Creek and Mana match. And, it's hard to kind of pump up a loss too much. You don't want to kind of give some false optimism there. But if a lot of the South Tama players and coaches are kind of referencing it, I think it was a helpful night of volleyball for the Trojans to kind of just gauge, hey, we can kind of hang in there to a degree with a very good volleyball team. And here they are. They get a really nice performance from freshman Paisley Bro, who was in reserve of there's a long run there
Logan Hummer.
Logan Hummer
on the
number
reception.
16. So Paisley Bro had a really nice night at the outside hitter position for South Tama last night against AGWSR.
And that was her first start, wasn't it?
I believe. Yeah, unless she played in one other Saturday tournament. And I don't know if they started her in that or not. I wasn't there for that, so not sure entirely there. But definitely the first dual meet that she started and got some kills down for the Trojans. And should be interesting to see how she kind of weaves into the rotation this year.
This time with Fenton on the running back carry for a yard. So definitely different string of players coming out for Williamsburg. So good to see. Good to see everybody getting experience today.
2nd down and 8 now for the Raiders as they're into South Tama territory.
Yeah, they were able to manufacture a couple of runs while we were chit-chatting about volleyball, but again, experience being learned on both sides of the ball. Hopefully getting this Williamsburg team ready as there's a high snap and a rollout from Wetjen. Going to pass. The ball is going to just drop shy. He had it in the breadbasket, kind of let it go, and the intended receiver being Connor Westcott.
So 3rd down now coming for Williamsburg and the Raiders. So we apologies. Looks like somebody's packing up something here in the press box. We got some building vibration going on. So if the camera's shaking on us here, that's what's going on there. Still 54-6. I think we have one touchdown in the second half so far for.
Yes, let me go back and look at my notes. Yes, it's Weiss to the net for a 12-yard touchdown pass.
And then Williamsburg, did they have one as well, or is this the?
So in the second, or are you talking about this quarter?
Oh, there's the half.
Oh, the half.
Yeah.
No, no touchdowns, no nothing. The only score that South Tama was able to get tonight was the last drive in the second quarter. So far no scoring in this second half.
Quarterback Weegan fires away to the sideline. It goes incomplete, bringing up 2nd and 10.
So with this continuous clock running down, we got 3 minutes left to play in the game. Still 54-6. Williamsburg able to get some production now on the South Tama side of the field. 34-yard line.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we've got Derek Weiskopf in at a running back here. Snap is bobbled, gets picked up off the turf. Short gain there by.
That's interesting to see.
Yeah, so maybe just for some blocking help. We haven't really seen the Raiders go to him at the running back position, and he's normally a wide out or a tight end, but maybe just trying to
just playing a different positions. Give it all a try. Why not? Because who knows what I was gonna do.
Right. Weegan looking down the sideline.
That's caught by Fenton.
Going to be Anthony Fenton bringing the ball into the end zone. Bryson Weegen's pass complete to Anthony Fenton down the sideline, and that's another Williamsburg touchdown, pushing the score to an even 60.
So yeah, so a 34-yard touchdown completion, Wet Jen to Fenton. That was a good rollout by Wet Jen, able to recognize that pressure that South Tama has been bringing all night long and throw it out right to Fenton right as soon as he got away from South Tama defender. Easy catch, and then just a race off to.
And the PAT will be good. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
It looks like it got tipped there.
I know.
And it kind of just floated in the air, and it fell just inside the uprights.
Yeah, that was a very unique, just enough power. Just give it as much force as you can and able to get it good. But, ooh.
Every door is getting slammed in this press box right now, it feels like. So I apologize for the shaky camera.
Shaky cameras and slamming doors.
Yeah.
Of course, now 61-6 with 2 minutes remaining. So definitely things to improve going in the game against Grinnell. Of course, we've been playing Clear Creek, Center
CPU,
Point Urbana. It was their homecoming.
Right.
Tonight's Williamsburg. It was their homecoming as well. And there's always so much more to play for on a homecoming night just because of the circumstances players find themselves in. So a lot riding for the community and the players and the coaches. And I fully expect that, again, this time helpful for South Tama going into our homecoming against a rival.
Right. The Steve Kriegel Memorial game getting played next week on homecoming, so a kind of a special double event there as the Battle of the Helmets will be played next week along with homecoming.
And this is interesting. The kicker for Williamsburg this time was Max Wodoneka.
So even a second-string kicker getting in on the action here. Not a bad look as, let's see here. Where's my kicker at? He's a senior, so they're going to be needing to get a new, a different kicker in after this season. So why not, take some opportunities to get him in a varsity contest?
Absolutely. Get some stats for the record.
Minute 30 coming away here on the end of the fourth quarter. South Tama going to take the loss against Williamsburg, move to 0-5. Raiders will stay unbeaten at 5-0.
Again, in that score formation, Weiss is going to hot pass. Shed a defender off to the edge, and I did not see who got that ball on that reception. So 34.
34, I believe, is Carver Chichok.
Yeah,
so
nice receiver experience for our younger guys there at the varsity level. Of course, the hits from varsity are going to be a lot more harder than JV, just because of the size of the players and the speed of which varsity ball is played. But as time kind of winds down, it looks like our final score is going to be 61-6 for Williamsburg. South Tama is going to take this run for about a 3-yard gain.
That'll bring up second down, and the clock is, I think, just going to run out here. So that might be our final play.
Yep, and here comes both teams getting on the 50-yard line. So that'll be game.
Final score, Williamsburg extends their unbeaten streak to 5-0. 5-0 now on their season. Final score 61-6 against South Tama. The Trojans fall to 0-5.
Definitely some things that both of these teams are going to be able to look at film, see what they can do to get better. I know both teams were kind of experimenting on different substitutions, different plays, and for different players. So going into the homecoming game against Grinnell next Friday, hopefully look at an even better South Tama team. Williamsburg, of course, #1 ranked in 3A. I would be hard-pressed, knock on wood. They'll probably make it to playoffs again this year and make a deep run there as well.
Yeah, I think this district could be very well represented. I don't know off the top of my head what that at-large bid process is going to be like this year for the association, but I could definitely see Williamsburg, Benton, and maybe Solon getting into playoff action. The three out of our 6 teams being represented from Class 3A District 5. Got a gauntlet of a district again this year, and it will be another year of this, as we're on 2-year district cycles now, so we'll see the same schedule coming back again next season, except we'll just flip the home and away calendar. So that will be kind of what to expect next year.
But I'm looking forward to next year as well, because some of those sophomore juniors coming up to the varsity level, it's going to be a good year for football next year.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to say thank you to our broadcast sponsors: Brookwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Covering, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark West and Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Weber's, TFD Photo and Film, and all of the Trojan Country broadcasts are made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. And so we want to encourage you, make sure to tune in tomorrow at 8:30 and through the entire morning and early afternoon for the South Tama Varsity Volleyball Invitational live from the Roundhouse. On Tuesday, we'll be back at home for more volleyball. It's going to be a WAMAC duel against Vinton Shellsburg. That's going to be a normal start at 7:30 for the varsity team. And then next Friday will be homecoming in the Steve Kriegel Memorial game against Grinnell. That'll be at home, of course, and we'll have also the homecoming parade. I believe we're going to try and get that broadcast live from Tama on Thursday around 6 p.m. That'll be on our Facebook channel. So if you can't make it out to the homecoming parade, tune in to Trojan Country around 6 p.m. on Thursday. We'll have homecoming parade action coming your way there. And then the football game live from Trojan Field on Friday. So hope you have a great weekend. And for Hunter White, I'm Darvin Graham. We're going to sign off and say go Trojans. Thanks for being with us, everybody.